So if we talk about the young generation, a question for both of you, should we start teaching in school maybe with a topic like ecological awareness? To start teaching that in school?
I mean, of course you could do that, but I think it would be better to include that aspect in all other subjects, so that we show that everything is connected.
I am not a bigot. I am a good global citizen and believe all the socially acceptable things that the good grown-ups at the big banks tell the TV screens to tell me to believe.
Welcome to the planet, my dears. Wipe your feet. Come on in. No more need for coats in your mother's den.
What do you see as the biggest challenges in conservation?
The growing human population. Because if where we are, there's nothing else.
And do you have views about what should be done about that?
Can't you guess?
Then the doors burst open. The king and queen walk through. There's our precious daughter. If they did not know what love meant, who would?
I am so happy that Prince Philip, friend of Jimmy Savile and father of philanthropist and champion of science Jeffrey Epstein's close friend Prince Andrew, and enlightened scientists like Bill Nye will come up with solutions to the hashtag climate crisis. I believe when the TV tells me that science says the Earth is dying because of climate change, which is why I became a vegan activist, but I wish we knew how to stop it so poor Prince Philip and Greta can have their futures back.
Growing population is a problem, but notice that the rate that the population is growing, human population is growing, is slowing down. It's apparently raising the standard of living of women and girls, people like you. As women and girls get better educated, they have fewer kids, and the kids they do have more resources, so they're better taken care of and they are more successful.
And I think that was the biggest aha to Bill and me when we got into this work, is we asked ourselves, of course, the same hard-nosed question you'd ask, which is, if you get into this work and you start to save these children, will women just keep overpopulating the world? And thank goodness the converse is absolutely true, because they don't do that.
In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. That the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down. And so we can feel great about saving those lives.
Having a child means that your net carbon output per year in tons is 59. From one child is 59. Going on a vegan diet removes 0.8. So if you have a child, that's literally making up for like 70 vegans.
That's
you know,
exactly
if you go car free, if I live in Manhattan and I don't drive, I am the equivalent of 3 vegans. If I wash my clothes with cold water, if I hang them to dry, and I recycle everything, that's the equivalent of 1 vegan diet.
I am so glad my educated wife knew better than to have children. It gives me more time to become a better version of myself. If we did have kids, she wouldn't have this great job and I couldn't have gotten the vasectomy from Dr. Gregor that her corporate health insurance paid for. My wife's boyfriend suggested I take a break from playing my Nintendo Switch and doing hardcore vegan activism in YouTube comments a few times a week to meditate or exercise, but even my spiritual leader, Sadhguru, is concerned about the hashtag climate crisis. Maybe he has a viable solution to this real and not made up crisis that is going to make everything bad happen if we don't do what the good grown-ups in government, banks, and the media tell us to do.
Unless you reduce the human footprint on the planet, there is no solution for anything. Then they ask me a brilliant question, how do you reduce the human footprint? I said, you have to reduce the number of feet. That's the only way. So, Right now, it doesn't matter what others think. All of you who are here and those of you who are hanging out with me, we can take it upon ourselves that we will not push the human population. You can have a dog.
He promoted this on television, and he went around all the agricultural shows, and he had I mean, it was a one-man thing, and it had a tremendous effect. It reduced it from 3% to 1%. But one of the things he said to the farmers, he said, look, you don't need all these children, it's ridiculous. You've got to feed them all, clothe them all, educate them all, and look after their health. So have a few, and then if you want to go on entertaining yourself, have a vasectomy. Oh, yes. Well, how do I do that? Well, I'll organize it for you. We'll have buses running into Bangkok on the King's birthday, very auspicious day. And you will go into, and he took over a whole lot of school halls and that sort of thing. And he showed me a photograph of all these beds and everything, and people went in, and I said, but how did they take it? Well, he said they didn't like being seen to have the operation. Oh, I said, really, how do you do that? I've had visions of, putting up. Oh, he said, it's quite simple, I blindfolded them.
Hey, what's that gadget?
Global
Television?
citizens breaking news. I am not a bigot. I am a good global citizen who takes the recommended daily dosage of vitamin TV to keep me in a state of anxiety, agitation, confusion and learned helplessness. I am not a science denier. I trust the experts. I do not deny science. The good grown-up experts from science on the TV interrupt this totally real and not made up #climate crisis to bring you information from a more important and totally real death threat from a global pandemic virus. We must all listen to the experts from science and obey the TV and participate in this totally necessary and justified, mandatory panic.
Spoiler alert, you're a scientist.
What I will say of this virus, I think we're in the middle of a massive experiment worldwide. And that
where are the guinea pigs?
Maybe. The experiment is, will people listen to scientists? In this case, referring to medical professionals. In this particular case.
Say Anthony Fauci over at Allergy and Infectious Disease.
For example, and are you washing your hands? And are you taking these precautions? These are warnings offered by scientists. And
for our own good.
For our own good. And I'd be interesting if we all paid attention to what scientists say, obeying the recommendations of scientists. It's an interesting experiment we're in the middle of.
Report by Johns Hopkins researchers and said that as many as 6,000 children a day could die over a 6-month period from preventable causes because of healthcare system disruptions caused by the coronavirus. Our next guest, Greta Thunberg, recently gave $100,000 she had received for her climate change activism to UNICEF to help protect kids from the pandemic. She's also helping raise even more money for UNICEF. She recently revealed she believes she may have had coronavirus after returning home from working in Europe. She said her symptoms were very mild, and her father, who had traveled with her, also got sick. We spoke to Greta Thunberg earlier this afternoon.
During this crisis, during any crisis, it is always the most vulnerable people who are hit the hardest, and that is children.
Because there's so much focus on coronavirus, there's a lot of kids around the world who may die of things that are very treatable, but because medical systems are overwhelmed, it's going to impact children in ways that a lot of people don't really anticipate.
Coronavirus! I have to say as well, I mean, Anderson and I have traveled around the world and seen the amazing work UNICEF has done in various places. I mean, it really is a terrific organization. Children's Emergency Fund.
I am so scared. If the extra non-essential people don't all obey science and stop working, wear masks, obey social distancing guidelines from science, and stay home until the good grown-ups tell us it's safe again, everything bad will happen always and all the people will die. The models clearly show that this is necessary and we have no choice but to listen to the experts from science. I am not selfish. I am a good global citizen who does not hate children and grandma. I will listen to what this brave, grassroots 16-year-old human shield tells me to do. I am not a bigot. The science is settled. We must accept a new normal. My wife's boyfriend is an essential worker on the front lines. He is a university graduate and a department manager at Walmart and understands the science and the models. He assures me that this is the right thing for us non-essential people to do.
Things I've seen you talk about online too is just how important it is to listen to experts and listen to science. And this is a time when, I was not a very good science student when I was in school, but this is a time it seems that, the global scientific community is so critically important, and we're really seeing just how important it is to follow science.
Yes, exactly. And I hope that we can see now the scientific community are stepping up, and they are speaking up more than they're done before, because obviously this is a crisis that would require the scientific community to speak up. And I hope that people really, it feels like science is getting, the role of science is changing now. It's becoming more, people are starting to realize that we are actually depending on science and that we need to listen to scientists and experts. And I really hope that that stays, and that also is for other crises, such as the climate crisis and the environmental crisis, that we actually understand that we have to listen to the scientists.
If the world was vegan, there would be no COVID-19. Up until 10,000 years ago, there were no epidemic diseases. What changed? We domesticated animals.
How's it going? I hope you're being safe out there and in good health. And certainly, I hope you're having enough toilet paper at home. Corona emerged due to the consumption of meat. What can I do in the future to prevent this? Leave the meat off your plate. Don't buy any animal products, and don't consume anything that an animal died for, or has been raped for, or has been tortured for. You know what I'm saying? So in order to avoid a pandemic in the future, you might want to look into your current diet and see what consequences to have an animal on your plate might have on a global scale. And you're seeing it right now. This is a small taste.
American philosopher John Rawls devised a thought experiment called the Veil of Ignorance. He suggested that when trying to determine a moral course of action on an issue that affects multiple people, we should make that decision from a veil of ignorance in regarding which person we will be. For instance, when designing a social policy that affects two different classes of people, one can imagine that once this policy has been designed, one will be placed somewhere in this society with an equal chance of ending up in either of the two classes. The idea is that placing oneself in a veil of ignorance when designing societies or social policies for that matter should result in a more fair and just society where everyone's interests are considered equally. The British government has now put restrictions in place to slow the spread of this virus. People in the UK are only allowed to leave their homes for specific reasons. This includes shopping for necessities, medical care, and travelling to and from work if it's absolutely necessary. Shops selling non-essential goods have been closed, as well as gyms, libraries, places of worship, and gatherings of more than 2 people have been banned. It's extremely important that these measures are enforced and that we practice social distancing, because potentially every one person can set in motion a chain of events that results in thousands of people being infected. Despite this, it seems that many people in the UK aren't taking this seriously, with photos emerging of packed tube stations and crowded parks. The mortality rates can be expected to increase over time if no countermeasures are put in place to flatten the curve, with hospitals becoming overrun with cases. Sure, if you ignore these guidelines, you may not ever see the victims of your actions, but I can't see how that's morally relevant. If I buy cow's cheese, directly affecting the supply and demand and causing more cows to be tortured and killed, I'll never see my victim, but I'm still morally responsible for their suffering and death. This is especially the case when we consider that the government have now told us extensively the risks of leaving home and not practicing good hygiene. We have now been told countless times that more people will die if we do not take this seriously. One argument is that going outside is going to give you a large amount of pleasure, and that you'll be missing out on something if you don't go outside. Perhaps as a social event you really want to go ahead, or you're just bored of social distancing. This is essentially the same argument that non-vegans use when trying to justify killing animals. If we don't think that we can justify killing non-humans on the basis of pleasure, then surely we can't justify killing humans on the basis of pleasure. I mean, come on, what next? Perhaps you also think that because lions don't self-isolate, humans shouldn't either. I think we all know that the behaviour of lions isn't an excuse for humans killing animals or humans. You may also think that Hitler self-isolated and he was a vegetarian. And while it's true that Hitler did self-isolate before his death, what Hitler did and didn't do is irrelevant to what we should do. To be fair though, if God wanted us to self-isolate, why would he give us legs? Another argument people may use is that the quicker we all get infected, the quicker we reach herd immunity. This of course is true if a virus can only infect you once, which we are not certain of when it comes to coronavirus.
Wow. That is some of the most powerful science I've ever heard. I feel so helpless and afraid, but comforted that the science has a plan to fight this terrible real death threat from this pandemic. The essential workers at the hospitals need our help. We must stay home and implement a global lockdown until the good grown-up experts like philanthropist Jeffrey Epstein's close friend Bill Gates come up with a happy, safe, healthy injectable science medicine to make us immune and healthy. Luckily, this won't affect my vegan activism, which is done anonymously in social media comments. I just wish all the non-essential people would listen to us empowered science-affirming activists and stay home and eat plant-based kibble so we can win the battle against the invisible enemy. Toxic masculinity and science denial seem to be at the root of this problem. It seems like both the hashtag climate crisis and this pandemic can be remedied with the same medicine. A global totalitarian technocratic social control grid of government-enforced mandatory poverty, and a new normal that redefines old, outdated concepts like freedom, healthy diet, family, and masculinity.
What do these 4 countries have in common? It's 2 things: Taiwan, New Zealand, Germany, Norway. All 4 of them reacted decisively to the coronavirus crisis. All 4 of them kept infection rates and death rates low, and all 4 of them have female leaders. This coronavirus crisis has shown clearly that we need competent, empathetic leadership, and that means more women in positions of power, and less of the macho stupidity and sociopathic behavior that we get from Bolsonaro in Brazil, Boris Johnson in the UK, or Trump here in the United States.
These toxic masculinity exuding non-essential extra people who refuse to wear their healthy muscles, stay home and accept mandatory unemployment are infringing on my rights. These science denier irresponsible non-essential people are the same bigots who wouldn't listen to the good grown-up philanthropists who tried to help them sterilize themselves and give up their non-essential rights to travel, eat meat, have jobs, own land, and reproduce in order to save our poor sick mommy Earth from all the toxic CO2 exhalations that the experts say the nasty extra people are off-gassing.
The act of killing the animal wasn't the masculine trait back then. It was the act of providing for your homes, right, was the masculine trait back in the day. Gender roles change, right, but this is back in the day, right? The masculine act was to provide and to look after and to defend. But we've conflated that with the masculine thing being aggressive, but also killing animals. And so you translate that feeling to a 2019 context, and you have people thinking, actually, to be manly means to eat meat, but actually to be manly doesn't mean to eat meat. It means to look after, right?
My favorite vegan activist can help re-educate these ignorant science denial lockdown phobes. They just need some inspirational speeches from positive male role models to teach them to accept the new normal. Earthling Ed can help them understand why masculinity is not about eating meat, or having unnecessary things like children, jobs, guns, testosterone, real animal foods, and rights. If only more men would be like Earthling Ed, we would not have viruses because people would not eat animals, or toxic masculinity because men would be comfortable with their lack of masculinity and redefinition of it.
Getting women to find you attractive, and it's really grotesque when you watch these adverts and you simplify what's happening in these adverts and what's being reinforced to people, but it really, really works. Like, advertising is so powerful. So now you have this idea of that, and then as a vegan, I get accused of being a soy boy, right? And now I am a soy boy because I love soy. Like, that's fine. I drink soy milk, I eat tofu. But the idea is being a soy boy, you're feminizing yourself, right? Because there's phytoestrogens in soy products, which there is.
This brave, stunning activist has me literally shaking with self-empowered redefined masculinity and an unstoppable drive to stay home and stop this virus and the hashtag climate crisis by continuing my hero's journey of vegan activism in YouTube comments and on my anonymous Instagram profile. Real masculinity is not about having or providing for a family and children, producing and eating real animal foods, or having unnecessary testosterone and muscle and rights. Real masculinity is about using female emotional manipulation techniques to make people behave like you want them to. Thank you, Earthling Ed. I stand with you and you're not toxically masculine man bun and proudly declare.
I am a soy boy because I love soy. Like, that's fine. I drink soy milk, I eat tofu. But the idea is being a soy boy, you're feminizing yourself, right? Because there's phytoestrogens in soy products, which there is. Like, you know, this idea that we have to reinforce these tropes of what it means to be a man. And so almost eating meat's a stamp of that dominance and authority, and is a reminder of kind of like more archaic and transgressive masculine traits and roles, which is interesting.
There we go. Hello, bigots. Look at all you bigots in the chat. So many bigots in the chat. Hello, everybody. Hello. Where are my mods at? We're suspiciously low on mods right now. Where are all my good mods at? We got Aaron Burrows, one of my good old mods here. One mod. That's it. We had like 10 mods last night.
I'm so much better now. I'm so much bigger and stronger than you.
Calm down. Calm down, Hench. We might have to check in on Hench sometime soon. I don't know if we'll have time tonight. Eventually, we're going to check in on the henchman. All right. It's been, like 3 days? 3 or 4 days? I don't know. Who's counting? Who's counting? Who's counting here? What are we going to use for the background? Let's get the... There we go. We'll get the soothing, relaxing background. There we go. It's finally raining here, which is nice. These little time lapses are great. This old, it's not that old, but this old Canon I have, this little camera. Where'd it go? Here. This one. This does great time lapses. Just the G7X Mark II. G7X Mark II, I think it's called. Anyways, great time lapses on this one. We're finally getting some rain, and that's what it looks like. Half the day. We're just in a huge cloud up here, which is nice. We've been needing the rain. The sun's been intense. The sun has been super intense. We've been finally getting some rain. But I hope everybody's doing well out there. I hope all you bigots are doing well. All you bigots in the chat, thank you guys for supporting. We got another stream. Another day, another stream. It's been a crazy year. I'm still amazed at how far things have progressed in the last 9 months. Right? I'm still amazed every day that this whole non-essential versus essential thing is still being repeated out there. Right? These governments are telling us whose businesses are essential, whose lives are not essential, whose jobs are not essential. And people are allowing this. Now, less and less people are allowing this. More and more people are starting to say, no, we're done with this. We're not going to submit to this. But the majority of people are just taking it. I don't know. I'm just amazed. We're not going to talk too much about current events today. I think we're gonna jump into some. We're gonna tie in, of course. We always talk about current events as well, but we're gonna tie in the vegan YouTube. We're gonna check out rather, and check in on the vegans on YouTube, because they seem to have the answers. All right, whatever the question is, they have the answer. Whatever the question is, they've got it. They'll debate you on it. They'll say Vegan Gains. It doesn't matter. Vegan Gains got the answer, right? Earthling Ed, he's got the answer. Earthling Ed's got the answer. Vegan Gains got the answer. We're checking in on both of them today. First, we're going to check in on Earthling Ed. Good old Earthling Ed. Wait, we're going to check in on Earthling Ed after we read a couple super chats. Here we go. We got some support from the audience tonight, and that's always important, guys. If you guys enjoy the streams, please support. Streamlabs link is in the description down below. Or become a member, primaledgehealth.com/membership. There's a link in the description. Tomorrow, we're doing our next coaching call in there in our private members forum. That's a great way to support our work and be supported by the work, and be supported by us, rather. And we get these coaching calls each week, which is really cool. And that's a really good and affordable way to get coaching. Much more affordable way than private coaching. And, of course, accountability from myself, Jessica, and a whole bunch of really cool people up in the private forum there. So that's a good way to support. And then also, of course, if you like these streams, if you want to have your questions read on stream, if you want to just prove you're not a bigot, if you want to help out some of us non-essentials, all us non-essentials out here, if you're an essential, you feel like donating and supporting a non-essential family, please enjoy the stream and send them Streamlabs. Like, motherfucker over here donates $5. Let's see what.
I'm not having any difficulty. Again, I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you.
Of course. Motherfucker donated $5. Says, if vegans want to say you're eating chicken menstruation, when they eat nuts and seeds, we should say you're eating plant abortions. Oh no, we've been through this talking point. I mean, you're gonna say these are chicken periods. Y'all eating chicken periods. First of all, that's complete nonsense. Chickens don't have periods. Mammals have periods. Chickens lay eggs. They lay eggs. But if they're gonna pull that argument out, then maybe we should shame them for their disgusting consumption of plant semen. Right? That almond is the seed of a tree. That is the semen of a tree. What kind of disgusting human being is going to steal the semen of a poor tree? Right? Innocent. An innocent tree. Never hurt nobody. They never hurt nobody. You guys are going to steal its semen, blend it up, and call it milk? What kind of disgusting person is going to do something like that? Right? No, these vegans, they have to sexualize everything as well. Like, why do these vegans turn everything into something sexual? It's so freaking ridiculous. We had a couple streams back. We had a nest was stirred, a nest was kicked. There was a whole bunch of like pronoun in your profile people on Twitter freaking out. I forget what even started it. But we had a conversation with some lovely vegans on Twitter, and they informed me that milking a cow is actually a violent sexual act. Right? This is what people would say, like, oh, like if you're milking a cow, they're saying something like, why are you fondling the cow's breasts? They've said this so many times. Those annoying vegans, they said the same. They said that's fondling a cow's breast. These people, they're so obsessed with sexualizing everything. It's so strange. It's so strange, man. I don't know what it is with these vegans. Well, we know a few things. We'll get into that in a second, though. But anyways, yes, thank you very much for that super chat. I agree. It's ridiculous. No, those are not chicken menstruations. Those are freaking eggs. Okay. All right, and chickens also will eat their eggs. They'll eat other chickens' eggs. They'll snatch the chickens' eggs. They'll eat them. So what does that say about those chickens? Are they committing terrible crimes as well, vegans? I guess it depends on who you ask. Testicular Tactics donates $5 through Streamlabs. He says, have you ever tried to eat insects? I mean, I've eaten, like, when you're like a kid, you know, like, I'm pretty sure I ate a worm at some point. And, like, I've put, like, ants in your mouth, stuff like that. I mean, I've accidentally eaten insects. I'm trying to think of, I don't think I've ever had, you know, like grasshopper or anything like that. No, like, official insect plate. I'm not, like, opposed to, like, I don't think eating insects is a bad thing, but the whole thing about we're gonna replace meat rather with insects. We're gonna take away your meat. We're gonna tell you your meat is unsustainable. We're gonna tell you your meat's unsustainable. Your animals are killing the planet, right? And we're gonna give you monocropped, pesticide drenched, genetically modified, what is it called? Leg hemoglobin, right? GMO soy leg hemoglobin in Impossible Burgers. That's good for the planet, right? Burgers made in a giant factory, good for the planet. Hamburger made from a cow, grazes on grass on your land, terrible for the planet. So mean, so oppressive, probably racist, homophobic, all the things. It's everything. Bad. Super bad. Right? Bill Gates' fake breast milk grown in a laboratory. Super good, sustainable, amazing. Science. Fuck yeah. Great. Okay. Breastfed babies? Breastfeeding with their mother? Co-sleeping? No. Take the baby. Put it in a crib. Put a pacifier on his face. Give it soy formula. Inject it with happy, healthy, long-term benefit medicine shots. As many as you can give it in the first hours of birth, right? That's how you do it. Science. Progress. Should we do more? Okay. Real milk from a cow. Real milk from a cow. Symbol of white supremacy. Obviously, right? Mean, right? Did I mention racist? Maybe the first one you would assume. Okay. Racist. Bigoted. Homophobic. Okay? Can a cow make milk if it's a lesbian? If she's a lesbian? No? Oh, yeah. Okay, so then homophobic for sure. Yeah? Okay. But fake milk from almonds, right? Fake milk from almonds just drenched in pesticides, right? Those are good, right? Monocropped almonds, all the water necessary, bringing in water from other states, California, so that you can water almond trees so that you can market them and sell them to affluent, brainwashed Yale students on the other side of the country. Good for the planet. That's good.
That's racism, man. I love to racism, bro.
Okay, no. That's bad. Stop. Don't. It's not nothing to laugh at. We don't laugh at these things, okay? All right. All right. Thank you very much, Testicular Tactics. South River donated $5. Says, don't let this trans vegan bigot hold the stream hostage. Are you talking about me? This trans vegan bigot? I will hold this stream hostage if we don't get enough super chats, South River. I will hold it hostage. I'll freeze it right up. I'll fake an internet outage. I'll just unplug it real quick, then come back. All right, thank you, South River, for that generous donation. Jimothy, great name, Jimothy. Donates $5. Says, but why my ex-girl now with a guy whose last name is Pagan and who posts gay selfies on Instagram with caption, "Who want to take shots?" Jimothy did not trip and fall. He attacked the floor because he is furious at the pagan and at himself. Okay, there you go. Whatever that is, it is. Thank you, Jimothy. I hope you I hope you recover from that, Jimothy. Okay, we come right here to the chat. Look at all you bigots. Look at all you bigots. So many bigots who've not hit the thumbs up. All right. Y'all bigots gotta hit the thumbs up. Y'all gotta hit the thumbs up. Get some thumbs up. Share the freaking video. You know YouTube's not gonna share it. All right. Now, we may begin. We shall begin. All right. Today, we're going to learn from the vegans. They know there's problems. The vegans will tell you what the problems are. The vegans will tell you exactly what those problems are. They have identified the problems. There are a lot of them, by the way. The vegans know them all. What are the answers? Guess who just happens to have the answers? Guess who just happens to have the answers? The vegans. They've got the answers as well. So here we go. We got Earthling Ed's newest video. As you could probably tell, Earthling Ed, he's a little bit fond of himself over there. Earthling Ed reckons himself. I think Earthling Ed reckons himself the one on the right. I think Earthling Ed reckons himself on the one on the right. But let's see. Vegan men, fragile, weak, and feminized. His videos a couple days ago, Earthling Ed. Remember, and this, when you watch this video, understand this is a well-funded channel here. Earthling Ed runs a scam fake charity called Surge. He had a diner, a London diner. I think it was in London, a London diner, a posh-ass diner. All right, this dude obscures his past, lies about his name for some reason. Very well-funded vegan. This Edward Gaunt, Edward Winters, Earthling Ed. Many names, many pseudonyms he goes by. Earthling Ed, who, after his undergraduate university education, found it suitable to go evangelize the world and turn it vegan, and just happened to stumble upon just the right amount of funding to do that, and continues to be quite well funded. Quite well funded all these vegans are. Right, as the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is what Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum have rebranded a global surveillance state as, right? They call it the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is a global big tech-based surveillance state where everything is tracked and traced. These vegans like Earthling Ed are out there on the ground level doing the hard work as the useful idiots in the tip of the spear of the revolution of retardedness, trying to get animal husbandry banned, right? Terrorizing farmers, going towards this model of big ag, big tech funded frankenfood, lab grown meat, and Beyond Meat, right? The Impossible Burger, all the shit that the World Economic Forum member corporations and partners push, all the things that the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, which includes the biggest transnational corporations, all of whom are on board with Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, right? The Paris Accord, these global climate agreements to make us all poor, to tax the shit out of all of our resources, to track and trace all resources, including us, who they consider human capital. And so these people are on the ground floor for pennies, and for little pats on the back, doing the work for the big dogs at the World Economic Forum, at the UN, at the transnational corporations, at Cargill, Monsanto, Bayer, Monsanto, these huge transnational pharmaceutical corporations who are going to make so much money selling you more and more supplements, selling you more and more drugs to treat your nutrient deficiencies, to treat the autoimmune conditions that continue to arise from the destroyed gut biome, from all the pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, from all the Roundup we're consuming, from all the toxic metals that we're consuming and being shot up with. When these pharmaceutical companies are making billions of dollars mandating treatments, attempting to mandate constant surveillance of our biology, these vegans are out there saying, hey, you guys got to give up your livestock because that livestock's destroying the planet. And also, you got to stop wanting to be strong and accept being a weak, frail, computer-bound, crook-necked soyum. Instead, come live in the smart cities and eat the kibble, bigots. These vegans are out there telling you, if we all just eat kibble, we'll be happy and healthy. And the animals will be so happy. The animals will really appreciate it if you eat Monsanto kibble. Give up your culture. Give up your land so that it can be used to cultivate soy and corn so that we can eat highly processed, real food replacement and pat ourselves on the back and tell ourselves that we're saving the world. I might be 90 pounds, and I'm saving the world.
How dare you? How dare humanity?
We haven't even...
As a species, the most destructive...
Destructive, we haven't even got into the first video yet. Haven't even gotten there yet. All right, we're going to watch this. So there's my rant for the night. We're going to shut up and we'll listen to homeboy Earthling Ed here. The Dreamboat, Earthling Ed. After reading this, we got a super chat here from Tristan Kent. Tristan, great name, by the way. It's one of the coolest names I've ever heard. Tristan, I love that. Tristan Kent donates $15. Thank you, Tristan Kent. Winning the Not a Bigot competition so far. Says ants taste good. Bugs aren't real food, though. Raw kidney. I don't know about raw kidney. I like that kidney boiled. I prefer it boiled. Fried rice, chicken leg. Fried rice. Raw kidney, fried rice, chicken leg. Okay, that's a weird combination, man. But I would eat that. That sounds all right. There can't be any vegetable oil in the fried rice, though. Just some egg and some butter. So yeah, there's nothing wrong inherently. Oops. There's nothing wrong inherently with insects, with eating insects, but they're not going to give you complete nutrition like ruminant animals. They're not going to replace things like beef, lamb, fish, eggs, dairy. And definitely I wouldn't eat like the highly processed. We're going to give you cockroach milk. Right, we're gonna give you when the cockroach is the larva stage, it excretes a tiny amount of juice into the cockroach larva, and we're just gonna harvest a bunch of that, billions and billions and billions of them, and we're gonna give you a cockroach milk juice. It's gonna be so good. It's got more protein than cow's milk, and it's more sustainable. It's more sustainable because it's made in a factory. Okay. It's made in a factory that will displace all those extra people, all those extra rural people who we don't need anymore. Mrs. Badgerwise says $4.99 through Super Chat on YouTube. Thank you, Mrs. Badgerwise. Is that Mrs. Badgerwise the same Badgerwise on, not Instagram, Twitter? Are you the Twitter? The Badgerwise on Twitter? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sorry Streamlabs doesn't work for you. It should work for everybody, but all right. Yeah, thank you very much. You guys would support the stream. I want to tell you all, these streams happen because of your support. You keep supporting, we're going to keep doing them. All right, let's hear what Earthling Ed's got to say. Masculinity. Earthling Ed. These transgressive forms of masculinity. I'm here to fix them. I'm here to redefine masculinity for you.
Real men eat meat, and going vegan makes you a weak soy boy. We have this idea that to be a real man, you have to eat animal flesh, and that by going...
Their thing is, with a man, they use a very confused looking, like he's got his arms bound off screen, his face is crooked, he's puzzled. Oh, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. How do I be a man? What do I... I have to define my manhood via consumerism. Wow, what products can I consume to show that I'm a man? Right? It's like, this is the straw man that that Earthling Ed gives you already looks like an indecisive halfwit. Indecisive, crooked, confused face halfwit. This is what he thinks about his audience. This is what he thinks. This is what you have to be to look up to this guy, Earthling Ed.
You have to eat animal flesh, and that by going vegan, you are suddenly emasculating yourself. So is this actually true?
Science actually says no. This is not actually true. And science actually says that masculinity is a spectrum. Gender is a social construct. Where's he going to go with this? This is like Earthling Ed's legacy to the world. Redefining masculinity for a few thousand dumb, malnourished vegans. Look at this new profile picture. What a weird. Let me see. Open link in the. Let's check out Earthling Ed's new. He's got this like cult leader profile picture with a turtleneck, trying to look like Bill Gates, looking like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs right out of high school, college.
We need to work out where this idea comes from. In some ways,
let me confuse you about where this idea comes from. Let me just go ahead and frame what masculinity I want you to believe in, so then we can go ahead and tear down the straw man and replace it with a little soy man. Okay, let's do this.
We trace back to our nomadic roots, where the roles of communities consisted of.
Look at what we used to do. We were so disgusting. Look at us. We have so much hair. Oh, look, we're these unwashed, downtrodden little brown people, and then we became so enlightened, and now we're these frail little grey alien soy boys who look like women, who speak like women, and who use female emotional manipulation techniques to get what we want. Look how far we've come. Look at this. This is racist bullshit. Oh, look, this is how you used to be. Look at you in the past. Look at the brown guy killing animals, this aboriginal looking dork. This guy doesn't even have an iPad. This guy doesn't even believe in science. This guy doesn't even believe in science. This guy doesn't even know that his ancestor is a single-celled organism and he shares a common ancestor with a banana. This is how Ed Winters here sees the way. Oh, look at this transgressive past as a man. We were nomadic. We just look at this painting of a brown man looking like a savage. If you eat meat, you're like this. You're an idiot. But look at me. I'm highly evolved. I drink Soylent. Yes. I have a fleshlight.
And hunting.
Look at him with his boomerang, trying to replace his phallus with a boomerang, because I see everything as a phallus. Look at he's holding a spear in his hand, and that's actually a symbol of a phallus. As you can see, he has a nose, and the nose comes to a point at the end, and that actually represents a penis. Yes, and if you can see, he's got 5 fingers. Yes, he has 5 fingers, and because I'm a vegan, I'm an effeminized vegan. I have to sexualize everything, right? So those fingers, those are actually a transgressive symbol of a penis. So he technically has a penis, a symbol of a penis on his nose. He's very, very phallic in his origin. This man is primitive, obsessed with penises. But now we're enlightened. Yes, we're so enlightened now.
In women gathering. And although this is widely considered as being the case, it must be stated that there is also evidence of these roles being less gender divided within some hunter-gatherer communities. But even if we take the stance...
but they weren't so gender divided. What does it even mean? But we also have evidence that gender is a spectrum.
Hunted. The act of killing an animal isn't what is important.
Oh, look at this footage from a 2011 History Channel television show about what life was like, about speculations on what life was like just a few thousand years ago. It was exactly like this. Look at this cheap knockoff Kevin Sorbo. This knockoff Kevin Sorbo with a beard and a spear. This is what you were, but now we've evolved. Look at us now, we have iPhones.
It's the act of provision. The fact that men hunted is secondary to the fact that hunting ensured that communities could survive.
And now, instead of hunting, men can simply cut off their penises and parade themselves about and flounce, that's Jessica's word, flounce about. They can cut off their penis and flounce about, and everybody will tell them how brave and stunning they are and award them with social credits. Right? Now we have social credits, and very soon we'll be much like communist China. Be much like communist China, rating each other, right, on our cell phones. If you're a good global citizen, you can bring home lots of Beyond Meat for your family. You can bring home much Beyond Meat on your family if you become a cam girl. Now a truly masculine man will do gay for pay on and on OnlyFans. This is the new proto-male. The new male believes that masculinity is a terrible thing, and that his testicles are a symbol of oppression.
In essence, if the correlation is that eating meat is manly because men used to be hunters, then really the correlation should be that providing for your community and looking after those around you is what makes you a man.
Really, what makes you a man? What makes you a man is... this is the weirdest stock footage. What makes you a man is awkwardly hugging a man who got laid off from his job because he can't sit and play Santa Claus in the mall anymore.
Is what makes you a man.
Look at this. It's like,
And so real.
Look at this.
It's too simplistic to point to our nomadic.
Oh, let's take some clips from a comedy movie with Jack Black. This is what you used to be what you used to believe a man was.
Days to justify our behaviour thousands of years later. In actuality, this attitude is more closely linked to how these products are marketed and advertised. For instance,
marketed.
So it's all about pelvic blood flow. You get inadequate clitoral engorgement, which a lubricant can be useful.
Thank you very much, Dr. Greger. Dr. Greger, exhibiting that vegan Coomer brain. Mrs. Badgerwise donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Says, thank you for all you do, brother. Much love. Oh, wait, you already read that one. Sorry. Carly Cherie. Carly Cherie. Oh, you must be in Australia. Sending those Australian dollars through Super Chat. Says, your videos are awesome. Your channel is the sanity pill needed in this crazy backwards world. Carly Cherie. Hope you're doing well over there in, assuming, Australia. And hey, I appreciate the support. You know, we're just some non-essentials over here. You know, just some non-essentials, trying to make sure our way of life can continue. And every once in a while we have a fun stream like this, or we just have some laughs. Oh, that's so cold. Why is water so much better when it's ice cold? Why is water so much better when it's ice cold? I don't know. All right, so let's go back. So what is it to be a man? Okay, you said this is just... It's our past, right? Hunting, that's in the past, but it's really about providing. Right? It's really about the act of being a man is providing. Like, how many times are you gonna make the same freaking video? This is your speech you gave that we cut up and put in the beginning and the intro, dude. Being a man is providing for your community. It's like being a man is joining your local Politburo and providing by your family, by accepting the government's social credit points for turning in your neighbors for having Thanksgiving dinner.
Try to befriend you, they'll try.
Being a real man is providing for your family, providing them safety from the state by snitching on your neighbors to the state. This is how you become a real man. Becoming a real man is emotionally manipulating people into feeling guilty for even wanting to be a man or have a family or eat meat or be healthy. Yeah, so it's like a true man provides for his community. Provides for his community. What do you even mean? You mean like farmers? You mean like people who raise food so that local communities can eat? Without having to be slaves like these Amazon cult workers that you show in your stock footage? You mean a real man is like doing things like the people that you malign and terrorize at these small family farms? Oh, yeah, like providing for families and providing food for their neighbors. Providing real nourishing animal foods to people. That's... No, that's bad. Get a job at Amazon. Go on OnlyFans and sell your soul. That's cool. That's cool. Come on. Oops, there we go. Yeah.
Community and looking after those around you is what makes you a man. And so really...
Learn to code. Exactly. Barry's Farmer. Learn to code. Get the Rahm Emanuel Says they should learn to code. Those jobs aren't coming back. They should learn to code. And like being a man, it's not about providing for your family. It's about accepting your universal basic income, wearing a muzzle, and snitching on your neighbors for having that extra piece of meat, or for killing that rabbit and cooking it for their child.
It's too simplistic to point to our nomadic days to justify our behaviour thousands of years later. In actuality, this attitude is more closely linked to how these products are marketed and advertised.
Meat is just a product that's marketed and advertised. Don't you love how they project this? Their whole thing is a marketed consumer religion. The Beyond Burger. Ugh, the Impossible Burger. No one has to market meat to you. They market fast food to you, you fucking moron. They're marketing to you this shitty fast food that's all based on corn. They're marketing you this shitty mass-produced kibble. You don't have to market meat. Do you ever see commercials on TV for steak? Do you ever see that? No. You don't have to advertise steaks. You don't have to advertise butter. You have to advertise fake butter. You have to advertise fake meat. You have to advertise your stupid-ass lifestyle that tricks people into malnourishing themselves, thinking that they're doing something good for the planet, while they're just making themselves miserable, disconnecting from their family, fucking up their physical and mental health, and then doing their damnedest to spread that disease to as many other miserable, vulnerable, stupid people as they can. Stop projecting, Earthling Ed. You guys are marketing. You are marketing this new version of actual toxic masculinity. This toxic, manipulative, disgusting way of going about your activism, right? Barging into small family farms and terrorizing them like you did that woman last year. Was that last year or 2 years ago? That small family farm, and you said, oh, you called her a factory farm. You called her a factory farm. You guys got all those piglets trampled and then said, oh no, we're saving these animals. Oh, look at all these dogs. You broke into her property and these dogs are freaking out on you. And oh, look at all these poor dogs. They're all cooped up. No, they're pissed off because you're harassing them, Earthling Ed. Spreading your actual toxic masculinity. Actual toxic masculinity. Which is based on all sorts of falseness. Which is based on this whole vegan ideology, fake religion that you people buy into, that you people bow down to. This consumer religion of we're going to consume our way into the utopia. We're going to consume our way back to Eden. But this is toxic masculinity. What you spread, Earthling Ed. You are toxic masculinity embodied, toxifying and poisoning the well of masculinity, confusing young boys into thinking that this is what you should aspire to be. A sterile, gaunt, pale, effeminate, propagandist whore. And I'm not talking about this blonde bimbo with the fake tits. I'm talking about this bimbo with the fake muscles
in Hawaii.
Real men
in the beginning.
Right, and you just imagine them shirtless all day.
Right.
This is real toxic masculinity. All right, come over here. Got a couple super chats. Beyond Fishy, what's up, dude? Beyond Fishy says, thoughts on vegan magic mushrooms? Be really careful. I think as far as... I would advise steering clear of these things. I would advise steering clear of these scenes. We'll do some more episodes talking about psychedelics and so-called psychedelics, the entheogens, the medicine, the mushrooms. I am not a fan of telling people to take the mushrooms for many reasons. But yeah, we got some... Is there an episode that you remember that we even talked about it?
You did the one with Hench.
Okay, yeah, go. There's some... I don't know what that was called. I probably didn't put Hench in the title.
No, he's in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I don't know. Find some video with Hench in the thumbnail. Says Jessica. Some 3-hour rant with Hench in the thumbnail. Beyond Fishy, yeah, be careful. You're not going to get enlightenment from drugs. Prelest. Prelest is a interesting concept. So, Beyond Fishy, thank you very much for the support. Oak Hardwood Roberts donates $10 through Super Chat. Doesn't even say anything. Just donates $10 through Super Chat. Guys, the best way to support is via Streamlabs. These streams only happen because of your support. They happen because of you guys. So you guys, thank you for liking it, sharing, supporting. Let's get back to Earthling Ed here.
In actuality, it applies women to sell their products with for instance, companies heavily sexualize the marketing of animal products, with campaigns from companies such as Carl Jr.'s, Burger King, Subway, and many more, using imagery of heavily sexualized women to sell their products to a male audience.
That's not selling people meat. This is not meat. This is selling people fast food. This is selling people the fast food lifestyle. This is selling people on drive-through shitty
The connotation
food.
being that eating meat will not only get you women, but that meat and women exist for the pleasure of men. Alternatively, meat companies will depict meat as being eaten by men.
Meat companies will depict meat as being eaten by men. Oh, we only eat meat because the patriarchy, they market to you. You would never have heard of meat if it weren't marketed. If you weren't marketed meat, we would all consume nothing but Beyond Burgers. We would all be eating soy because we know it's better for the earth. So Carl's Jr. commercials show naked ladies in them. Therefore, meat is toxic masculinity. What an idiot. You must think your audience is so dumb.
Advert taglines such as "Feed the Man" being used to describe meat products.
So, and then what about the game changers? You guys put out a whole documentary all about how not eating meat makes you so cool and masculine. Half of your guys' content is about, oh, meat eaters, they think they're so masculine because they eat meat. Nobody thinks they're masculine because they eat meat. People just aren't going to give up meat because you've gaslit them into hating themselves for being a man. Nobody's going to let you gaslight them into this. Well, of course, some will. Some will. But we don't care. We don't eat meat to try to be masculine. Hey, guess what? Half the people who eat meat are women. Half the people that eat meat are women. You guys are so obsessed with trying to market meat to men. Most vegans and vegetarians, self-identified vegans and vegetarians, are female, and the males who self-identified are only doing it, many of them, because their female counterparts have dragged them into it. And a lot of those dudes are just doing it for the nookie, if you know what I mean. Right, so you guys constantly projecting this, oh, it's toxic masculinity, meat, oh, you don't need to eat meat to be masculine. Look at all these other men. They fit in this stereotype of what we just told you is masculine, and they don't eat meat. You guys are all over the place. You're so inconsistent, and we don't even expect you to be consistent anymore. We just expect you to be hilariously blind. We just expect you to be clueless. That's pretty much what we expect from you. To just be clueless and laughable. And you're delivering. You're continuously delivering.
Or in this advert, where the burger can only be eaten by a man with the tagline, "Man up." All of this has led to some pretty...
Only be eaten by a man.
startling.
Yes, most of the calories on a hamburger are not coming from the meat in a lot of these places, right? They show you these, in Carl's Jr.'s commercials, the burger patties are like a half pound. You actually get it. It's a little sliver in between some flaccid-ass bun. Like just weird sugary mayo sauce and all sorts of crap all over it. Plant-based. But of course, if you go and you buy a plant-based Beyond Burger, then that's so masculine because you're actually providing. You're providing, the act of actually providing for the planet. It's just marketing. You are a marketer, and that's what you do. You're a propagandist, and you're out there pointing the finger at others and say, oh, look, you guys are marketing meat. The meat has to be No, nobody has to market meat. You have to market your fake meat and your fake life.
social science. For instance, a study from the University of Hawaii found that men routinely incorporate more red meat into their diet as reassurance when they feel their masculinity is being threatened.
they get some paper. You find some paper from Attila Pullman, right? The chick's probably got 30 different pronouns, right? Some sociology student, some grad student, some feminist studies grad student, or gender studies or gender fluid studies grad student published this BS social psychology study. Men routinely incorporate red meat to preempt the negative emotional states caused by threats to masculinity. What? What is this? Oh, look, science says this. This is science. Look, it says lab note. This was written by a woman in a lab coat. A woman. Are you afraid of a woman in a lab coat? In her gender studies laboratory?
There is no better example of this than when Fox News host Jesse Waters ate a steak live on television in front of a social psychologist who had come onto the show to discuss the perceived link between eating meat and masculinity.
Oh, look, he ate meat in front of a sociologist. Oh my God. Oh my Gregor. Oh my Dr. Gregor, I cannot believe he did this. I can hear you clutching pearls. When you hear me talk like this, it's because my chest is caving in because I'm clutching my pearls so hard. Oh.
And threatened. There is no better example of this than when Fox News host Jesse Waters ate a steak live on television in front of a social psychologist who had come onto the show to discuss the perceived link between eating meat and masculinity.
Pretty good. It's a little rare, medium rare.
Yeah.
Is
got
this
some nice dead animal, dead cow hanging on your fork?
On top of this, studies have shown that only...
That's horrible. This was a hate crime on national TV.
Drug addicts face the same degree of stigma as vegans, with men who have gone vegan for ethical reasons being viewed as the most socially threatening. But why? Because ethical vegan men dispel the myth that masculinity is tied into eating meat or lacking empathy for animals.
No, ethical vegan men are you. You're an ethical vegan man. You don't inspire anybody at all. Nobody's inspired to be like you, dude. Kids get duped into thinking that you're something special and that you're some sort of a vegan icon. But no, Earthling Ed, you're not changing this. Nobody's gonna give up their masculinity because they got gaslit by some dork vegans who call themselves ethical vegans.
The myth that masculinity is tied into eating meat or lacking empathy.
No, it's tied into having empathy. And I will define having empathy as lacking meat. If you just stop eating meat, then you have empathy.
For animals. And yet despite all of this, we ironically, also paradoxically view men with dogs or puppies in a more appealing light. For example, there was a study done that revealed that men holding puppies were seen as 24% sexier than men with no dog at all.
24 science has shown us. The science is clear. Men holding puppies are ranked 24% sexier than a guy with no dog at all. Oh my goodness. The science clearly shows that masculinity is all about having dogs and eating Beyond Burgers. Amazing.
They were also seen as over 14% more trustworthy, 7% more intelligent, and over 13% more attractive. And furthermore, advocates for eating meat will often point to testosterone, making claims that vegans have lower levels. However, studies have actually shown that the inverse is true, with a study from the British Journal of Cancer showing that vegans had 13% higher testosterone levels than meat.
Have 30. Look, I found a study that I have no idea how to read or interpret from the year 2000. in a cancer research journal and said that vegans had 13% higher testosterone concentration. Wow. Wow. What is this study? Let's see, what is this study even about? What's the title of the study? Hormones and diet. Low insulin-like growth factor 1, but normal bioavailable androgens in vegan men. So low IGF-1, but normal. Look, on paper, this withered, pale, effeminate shell of a man actually has, on paper, testosterone. Look, this makes you a man. Testosterone makes you a man now. I'll tell you on one hand that testosterone doesn't make you a man. And on the other hand, I'll say, look at this study. Vegans had more testosterone. So that, testosterone doesn't make you a man. But if you eat a vegan diet, you're going to have more testosterone. Testosterone isn't a defining factor of manhood. But look, vegans have more testosterone. Oh, you shouldn't be worried about these archaic images of what manhood is all about. But here, feel insecure about your testosterone levels, but if you go vegan, it'll fix that insecurity. Alright, so this is a study about having low IGF-1, which is, someone in the chat points out, yeah, this is the most anabolic hormone. One of the most important anabolic hormones is IGF-1. But oh look, we have some testosterone. What? Mean serum insulin-like growth factor 1 was 9% lower in 233 vegan men than in 226 meat eaters and 237 vegetarians. Vegans had higher testosterone levels than vegetarians and meat eaters, but this was offset by higher sex hormone binding globulin, and there were no differences between diet groups in free testosterone, which is what's important, androstenediol glucuronide, or luteinizing hormone. So this guy has no idea how to read this study, has no idea what he's talking about as far as hormones go and what these hormones do. And here he is misleading you about this study that should actually be alarming the vegans, but then they're going to take this as, oh yeah, we're still man. Look at my testosterone on paper. All right, this is what it's about with vegans. It's about this whole thing of like manhood, toxic masculinity. Let me define what it is to be a man for you. Let me redefine it. Let me tell you that your conception of manhood is completely bad and false and terrible for the planet and everything else. Let me tell you all these lies. Let me just gaslight you into thinking that you don't even know what it means to be a man anymore. Being a man is just like being a woman, right? Elliot Page is a man. Yeah? It's all the same. Wonder Woman is a great man. So, this study that he completely misrepresents here is so indicative, right? Just this, the fact that he misrepresents this, maybe not intentionally, maybe he's just so stupid that he doesn't realize it, but probably intentional. This shows you what these people think of you. This shows you what they think of you. They think you're idiots. They think you're foolish. And they think that they can just rub this in your face. This guy, Earthling Ed, in this marketing video for him, this is a marketing video for him, for his activism, for Surge, for veganism, for his fake cause, right? For the animals, he says. We all know what it's really about. We know this isn't about animals for these people. They think we're just animals. He thinks there's no difference between humans and animals. This shows exactly how much respect he has for his audience. He's completely misrepresenting this study.
Journal of Cancer showing that vegans had 13% higher testosterone levels.
Higher testosterone. But let's not mention that this was offset by higher sex hormone binding globulin and much lower IGF-1 levels. Like, it doesn't get any more dishonest. Here you go. Let's talk about the Game Changers next. I just saw that was a screenshot from the Game Changers. But look, here's a guy that's jacked with muscles and he's vegan. Oh look, being jacked with muscles. This is what vegans are.
Vegans also had lower IGF-1 levels, which reduces the risk of certain cancers.
Oh, reduces the risk of certain cancers. Right, so this lie that IGF-1 does not cause cancer. This has never been proven at all. Right, so this completely misleading statement that IGF-1, which they try to claim is associated with certain types of cancers, having low IGF-1, that's a good thing. Yeah, not if you're trying to maintain some lean muscle mass or put some lean muscle mass on. Not if you're trying to not look like Earthling Ed, a.k.a. Edward Gaunt, a.k.a. Ed Winters. What is his real name? All right, this liar who just lied to you and showed you the study, and if you could just pause it and read it and have a semblance of knowledge about hormones and androgens. And he'll lie to you. He'll put it right up on the screen and say, "Oh no, this is." He'll hold up a cat and tell you it's a pig. Oh no, this isn't a cat. I'm not holding a cat right in front of you. It's a pig.
Such as prostate. So if people believe that it is testosterone that defines being a man, then you're better off being vegan anyway.
Oh, you're better off being vegan anyway.
The estrogen, soy contains phytoestrogen, which is a plant hormone.
Oh, it's a plant hormone. A plant hormone. A plant. There have been so many studies done on the feminizing effects of estrogens from plants. These plant hormones have a powerful effect on the body, especially soy. Let's see how he lies about this one.
Its name, consuming it does nothing to negatively impact the body's estrogen levels. In fact, in a review of 9 clinical studies published in the Journal of Fertility and Sterility, it was stated that there is no evidence that phytoestrogen affects circulating estrogen levels in men.
Oh, so one study claimed there was no evidence. Therefore there is no evidence. There's none. There's none. Eat all the soy. See what happens.
But guess what contains actual estrogen? Cow's milk and other dairy products. And on top of that, a plant-based diet can reverse erectile dysfunction, which is commonly caused by a diet high in saturated fat and cholesterol, i.e. meat. Plus there's documentaries such as The Game Changer.
Right. There's just, within like a 30-second time frame, there's so many lies you can't even unpack it. Oh, cholesterol. Your brain's made out of cholesterol. Your central nervous system needs cholesterol. If you don't get enough cholesterol, if you are deficient in fat for long periods of time, your central nervous system starts eating itself away. What? What are you talking about? Cholesterol is necessary. Your body makes cholesterol. Right? Your sex steroid hormones are made out of cholesterol. Testosterone is made out of cholesterol. Vitamin D, one of the most important hormones made from cholesterol.
In men. But guess what contains actual estrogen? Cow's milk and other...
No, sir. If you look at the amount of the phytoestrogens in your soy, it's not even comparable. And we're looking at completely different effects from these phytoestrogens in soy. I'm amazed at the level of dishonesty, and I've been documenting the dishonesty of these people for a long time, but it just keeps getting worse. I don't get how it keeps getting worse. How do they get more dishonest with time?
Dairy products. And on top of that, a plant-based diet can reverse erectile dysfunction.
A plant-based diet can reverse. So, you should be ashamed of your erectile dysfunction, and it's because you're not vegan. Or this whole thing is about making you feel weak, fragile, and feminized, so then he can make you go vegan. Isn't this funny? It's just supposed to be, we're going to bust the myths of that vegans are frail and feminized, and the whole thing is about making you feel fragile, weak, and feminized. But then no, look, veganism is a cure. Right? Do you have erectile dysfunction? Or are you consuming all sorts of shitty ass foods, eating a bunch of vegetable oils? Are you diabetic, pre-diabetic, terrible blood flow? Or do you waste all your time and energy just destroying yourself with drugs and alcohol, and your PP doesn't work? Well, go vegan, it's going to fix that, right? No, veganism will fix erectile dysfunction. You're so... what a joke. We need to stop this idea of toxic... we have to get rid of toxic masculinity. And then, hey, look, veganism is going to make you jacked and your dick's going to be like a jackhammer. Hey, you want to be jacked with a jackhammer dick? Go vegan. It's like, you're so duplicitous.
Which is commonly caused by a diet high in saturated fat and cholesterol, i.e. meat. Plus, as documentaries such as The Game Changers show, you don't need meat to be muscular.
Oh,
or to be
no, you don't need... He starts off attacking the concept of masculinity and then assumes the fake concept of masculinity and says veganism will give you the fake concept of masculinity. Yeah, and then he shows a masculine woman and says, look at this vegan woman.
Athletes, with Kendrick Farris, who is 100% vegan, setting a US Olympic weightlifting record.
Look, this guy set a record and he was a vegan at that time. Wow. You're going to set Olympic records for having a jackhammer penis if you go vegan. Come on.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger, who once said in a film,
"You're a bit like a vegetarian,"
has stated that the correlation between meat and masculinity is just marketing.
But you got that.
It's just marketing. Even he said this as he marketed you a shitty vegan protein powder. He said this in his marketing video, and you're talking about a 2-hour pea protein isolate marketing video. I'm sorry, documentary, The Game Changer. That's a 2-hour advertisement for pea protein. You're so dishonest. You see, they do exactly what they accuse others of doing. Or who's spreading toxic masculinity? You are. By poisoning the well on what it is to be a man, what it is to be masculine. Oh, people believe that it's masculine to eat meat. Eating meat makes you a man. No, who the hell believes that? Half the people who eat meat are women. Jeez.
Stand, that's marketing. That's not based on reality.
And besides...
Again, that's a clip. That's marketing. It's based on reality. It's not based on reality. It's marketing. I've never even been to Mars. We've got to get to Mars right now. It's marketing on Mars. They're marketing Mars bars on Mars, and they're vegan. There's no milk in the milk chocolate in the Mars bars.
What could possibly be manly but paying someone else to kill some of the most gentle animals on this planet?
Animals.
What could possibly be manly about lowering pigs into gas chambers? What could possibly be manly about slitting the throats of lambs? The irony is that those who say they eat meat because it makes them manly are the ones who are most conscious about their masculinity.
So again, feel insecure. But then the cure for your insecurity is, of course, veganism. Hey, you're insecure. Here's a problem. You don't feel masculine. Oh, don't you not feel masculine? Hey, go vegan. All right, so then, of course, I'm assuming from this haircut, I'm assuming from the swoop-de-doop-de hairdo, that this is another example of the not masculine man who needs to go vegan so that he can get the poontang. All right.
I just want to eat what I want to eat.
Hence why they feel the need to eat meat to be manly. If you are comfortable with your masculinity, then why do you need to prove anything to anyone else? Eating meat to prove
why do you have to? So Earthling Ed, if you're comfortable with your masculinity, why do you need to project discomfort with masculinity onto everyone else? Why can't you look in the mirror? Why you got to project your broken vision of masculinity, which you believe is just a social construct? Why do you have to create a new social construct and try to push it on everyone else? Ed.
Masculinity, in turn, just shows your fragility.
Oh, you're just fragility. This is a tactic that they love to use. That you have fragile masculinity, and that's why you won't tongue kiss me. The only reason you haven't tongue kissed me is because you have a fragile sense of masculinity.
and fragile person would harm someone else to try and prove themselves to be something that ironically the very action of harming someone else disproves. And for those who hunt, what's manly about using high-powered rifles and scopes, hiding in camouflage, just to kill an unsuspecting and defenseless animal?
What's really manly is hiding behind a YouTube channel and having sponsors to pay you to gaslight people into feeling guilty about hunting and providing food for themselves and their families. that's manly. That's man. This is the new masculinity.
Ultimately, there is nothing manly about killing animals.
Nothing.
And there is nothing manly about lacking empathy.
No.
It's time to do better. Nobody should have to die for someone else.
Nobody should have to die. Nobody should have to die. No. Let's abolish death. Let's stop death altogether. How delusional. Nobody has to die. Everyone has to die, you fucking idiot. We all have to die, dude. You gotta die one day, Earthling Ed. I'm gonna die one day. And I'm sure there are a lot of you vegans watching right now who just hate me. You can all pat yourselves on the back because I'm gonna die one day. You can all self-comfort with that thought. I'll be dead one day, all you vegans who hate me. No, but you don't hate me you don't hate me nearly as much as you hate yourself. You don't hate me nearly as much as you hate the person you see in the mirror. What a prime example of gaslighting, manipulation, and just shitty low-level marketing by this guy. You're a shitty propagandist, Earthling Ed. I know you think you're great, right? You think you're the top of your game. You think you're vegan Jesus. I mean, that's how you market yourself. You think you're vegan Jesus. But you're pathetic, dude. You're pathetic, and they pay you pennies for this shit. You're making crumbs. I know you got your suave little life in your flat in London. But what do you see when you look in the mirror, dude? What do you really see, Earthling Ed? What do you really see? Because I bet you see a little bit of what we see. I bet you see a little bit of that falseness that we see right in front of us right now. I know you see the liar that we see right here. You see that person. And you got to look that person in the eyes. You got to look that person in the eyes in the mirror. You got to live with that. Right? How old is this guy? This guy's like a 23-year-old undergrad, a 23-year-old bachelor's degree having film student here. And he gets to define masculinity and redefine it for all of us. But he's not even going to redefine it. He's just going to tell you, yeah, those are true, but if you go vegan, you'll really embody those.
Nobody should have to die for someone else's fragile masculinity.
Fragile. Who's this guy? That guy would kick your ass really good. That guy right there. and that's not even what it's about. That's not even what it's about. But like here you are. You're using this this guy. You found like hunter stock footage to edit this. This guy's fragile masculinity. His fragile masculinity. I don't think this guy defines himself in the way you're projecting it, Earthling Ed. I don't think he defines himself in that way. And I do think this dude would smack your face if you said this to him. This little video you edited of this dude. If you went to him and told him this to his face, what would happen? Right, this is the thing. You guys, this is what you do. This is what you guys do. You sit and throw stones from your glass house that you have your army of followers polishing for you constantly. And you're doing exactly what you're pointing the finger at other people and claiming that they're doing. You're doing it. You're defining this, and you're destroying a straw man of fake masculinity.
Suspecting and defenseless animal. Ultimately, there is nothing manly about killing animals. And there is nothing manly about lacking empathy. It's time to do better. Nobody should have to die for someone else's fragile masculinity.
Fragile. Patreon. Surge, Earthling Ed. Come over here to the chat. What's up, bigots? All you bigots. All you bigots in the chat. All you bigots in the chat. Let's get some support, guys. Best way to support is via Streamlabs. Use the Streamlabs link. Here, let me see. Where's that Streamlabs link? I'll put this in the description right here. If you guys like the channel, if you guys like the streams, support the dang streams. Support the dang stream. Best way to support is via Streamlabs. Sometimes we get some decent support, sometimes not much at all. We had a little bit in the beginning there. All right. What do we do here? We got here, we'll go to Dr. Greger. Flanky's kind of we'll hit on that later. I don't know if we can get to that. You guys keep wanting a flank update, but it's just I don't know. Sometimes I can't stomach it. We'll see what happens. Let me go with that later on. Got plant-based news here. 4 rules for thriving on a plant-based diet. Then we also, where'd that other one go? We had a meat masculinity one, another one.
That's racism, man. I love to racism, bro.
There's some support from the audience here. Thank you, guys. Dom L Cardio. What's up, man? Dom L Cardio donates $20 through Streamlabs. Says Bush, Clinton, Obama say they're taking the jab. Definitely taking it now. Yeah. Did you guys see this? Did you guys? I can't believe this. I mean, I can't believe it. It's just like when Bush and Clinton went together for that giant Haiti scam with the Clinton Foundation, and Bush and Clinton went there for the photo op, and then when one of the Haitians reached out and touched Bill Clinton's hand, he went like this, wiped it off. Oh, it's disgusting. Yeah, Bush, Clinton, and Obama at the Super Friends War Criminals. Super Friends War Criminals. Don't worry, they're gonna volunteer to get the shot. They're gonna totally take it. They're really gonna take it. They're gonna take it to help you guys. But you guys know that there are in unrelated news, you can get a collapsible syringe for just a few dollars, and that syringe will make it look like you're shooting somebody up. Yeah. So where'd that go? Where'd the Obama image go? Let's go back to, there it is. Former presidents Obama, Bush, and Clinton volunteer to get coronavirus vax publicly to prove it's safe. They'll get it publicly. It's going to be so real. It's going to be so real. It's going to be as real as a drone strike. It's going to be as real as 9/11. Damn. Yeah. All right. Deep Scope 22 donates $10. And that's the best way. The best way is through Streamlabs. Thank you, Deep Scope. Do you think veganism is prepping people for eventual Kabbalism, like the Eloi were for the Morlocks? So I haven't read that book. That's that H.G. Wells book. What is it? What's the book called? We got like the two different races. One of them lives underground and is like degenerated, and then one of them just feeds on them. It's just like the Ubermensch, and then you have the underclass. I mean, that is what the World Economic Forum is promoting here. That's the stakeholder, as Klaus Schwab calls it, stakeholder capitalism model. That's the model. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy that anybody would accept that. Right? I mean, even these dumbass vapid celebrities don't realize that they're going to be useless. Like, they're only useful during these transition periods. all those celebs, you're just going to be discarded. You've got social media e-celebs now. You've got, I mean, there are 100,000 Cardi B's out there, right? If Cardi B starts to get lippy, if she starts to say anything real, you know how easily these people can be replaced? Right? The real celebs, they're too expensive. That's the old model. Now it's e-celebs, right? Now you got Fwanky Too Famous and Earthling Ed. They're cheap. You don't have to pay them as much. And they were raised on the propaganda. All right. Yeah, all right. Deep Scope 22, thank you. Appreciate that. You guys who do support the stream, I want to say thank you, guys. You guys keep these streams going. These streams happen because of you. These streams don't happen without you. We get no support from YouTube. 100% supported by our audience. If you like the stream, support the streams. Best way is the Streamlabs link down below, and we can answer your questions. Or if you guys got any video requests, we can maybe watch some of these videos that are requested and respond to them. Remember, don't do the super chats through YouTube. It's fine if you do, but they get a cut. Streamlabs is a little different. It works a lot better. All right, so let's hear a little bit more about the solutions that the vegans can offer us. Solutions that the vegans have. Here is the king of solutions, Dr. Greger, looking like he's about to looking like he's about to be the victim of someone's solution. Just in the screenshot here. I don't know what's up with Dr. Greger. You doing all right, Greg? Let's check in.
My treadmill.
Wait.
My treadmill.
Oh, Greger sounds sad. Dr. G. Dr. G, I don't like seeing you sad like this.
Carnists will try to befriend you. They'll say, vegan ideology, you've been brainwashed. Come over here. That's brainwashing.
That's brainwashing. It's brainwashing. Kellyanne French, what's up, Kellyanne French? Kellyanne French, she's in the forum, right? That's Kellyanne. I know Kellyanne French. Sometimes a name pops up and it's like I got to double check with Jessica. Okay, that Kelly. What's up, Kellyanne? Good to see you here. Kellyanne French says just because Kellyanne French misses you guys. Cheers. Vegan.
A lubricant can be useful.
Thank you, Kellyanne French. That was a really nice gesture there. We appreciate that. Glad you enjoyed the stream. Glad we could be useful. Vegan phobic. There you go. One of my favorite vegan channels. Non-vegan channels. One of my favorite channels in general, I'll say. My dude, vegan phobic. What's up, man? What's up, man? Speaking of toxic masculinity, coming over here, swinging the big hammer, donates a big fat $50. Vegan phobic. Thank you. I love when channels that I'm a huge fan of come and support the channel here. It does make me feel good. You can do a great job over there. Check out Vegan Phobic's channel. He says, I came to eat soy and save animals. And I'm all out of soy. Bam, there you go. That Rowdy Roddy Piper. They Live line. I feel like so many people say that line and they've never even seen They Live, right? I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum and I'm all out of bubblegum. People don't even realize where that's from. That's one of the best movies. Vegan Phobic. Thank you, man. Dude, one of my favorite videos recently that you've made, Vegan Phobic, is Imagine a Vegan Wife. And we might watch that one next, right? We're talking about toxic masculinity. We got to cancel toxic masculinity. We're gonna watch a few clips. We'll get into Greger here, and then we'll move on because I've got some other stuff that we could check out. But yeah, Dr. Greger, back to the task at hand. Why you sound a little bit bummed, Dr. Greger, and you're in a different setting. There's no treadmill. What is going on here?
Unexpectedly, find myself back in the mainland. My whirlwind Hawaii romance did not work out. And so I am here in an Airbnb in Los Angeles temporarily while I figure out kind of as a staging ground to figure out where I'm heading off to.
Wait, Dr. Greger got the boot. Last time we checked in on Dr. Greger, this is kind of sad to see. Last time we checked in on Dr. Greger, he was doing a Q&A with another lady, and they were staying in the same house. All right, that apparently has ended, and this is why Dr. Greger has kind of a somber He's got like a guilty vibe. What's with the guilty conscience vibe here, though? Jessica, can you diagnose the vibe from Dr. Greger? Come closer. I want you to watch this.
Okay. My treadmill. Unexpectedly,
look at these, like down, side to side, like looking down side to side, like he's trying to find an explanation. He doesn't. He looks like a shamed little boy right here. He's got the posture of Ryder, who did something naughty and who's been called out for it. Ryder's our 4-year-old. He's got the posture, the body language of our 4-year-old who's been called out, right? You've been caught with your hand in the cookie jar, feeling guilty as hell, feeling shamed as hell. What's up with this?
In the mainland, my whirlwind Hawaii romance did not work out. And so I am here.
What happened? What happened? We need. Let's get some theories in the chat. What do you guys? What happened with Dr. Greger's romance? Was he too much? Was he too? Did he care too much? Did Dr. Greger give too much in this relationship? I just give too much. I love too deeply. Did he love too deeply? What do you guys think? John Dennison donates $14.99 through Super Chat. So sorry about the YouTube Super Chat. You have to apologize for doing YouTube Super Chat. Thank you, John. But the other one's better. I didn't want to leave my guy hanging. Love your work, he says. Right on, John Dennison. I appreciate that, man. I know you've been watching for a while. You've been tuning in, and I appreciate the support. I really appreciate the support from the long-term viewers. I'm taking note. I see you guys. You guys are getting extra social credits when I'm king of District 16.
An Airbnb in Los Angeles temporarily while I figure out, kind of as a staging ground to figure out where I'm heading off to write my next book in 2021.
No, he's got another book. Dude, oh man, do you think Dr. Greger's? Do you think he's done with it? Do you think he's over this cycle? This seems like we're 30 seconds in, and I'm getting some serious midlife crisis vibes from Dr. G here. Is he gonna give it up? Is he gonna give up the game? The book game?
I'm restricted to cities with big airports because I travel so much. But now, since no one's traveling much anymore, I can live anywhere. So
yeah, nobody's traveling much anymore. And no thanks to idiots like you. No thanks to idiots like you pushing this COVID tardation. Right? You are culpable in this, dork. You're part of the reason. Where's your mask, Dr. Greger? You better put gloves on. Oh, did they sterilize the home, the Airbnb?
Because I love soy.
With a good internet connection. So if anyone has any good housing leads for a book retreat, I'm thinking Austin, Seattle, who knows. But
some place with some fresh young vegan honeys. I'm newly single. If you guys know any place where I can maybe drop my my baggage, and work on my book for 2021, go ahead and slide into my DMs, and also realize I'm newly single.
Go anywhere. So let me know if there's a quiet place with good internet you'd recommend. Maybe I'll write my next book in your hometown or hamlet or city, or who knows. By next month, hopefully, my next month's live Q&A, hopefully I'll be back on my treadmill and know where I'm going to be in the near future. Anyway, for those who view unfamiliar with my work, every year I read through every issue of every English language nutrition journal in the world. So busy, folks.
English.
I don't have to. I get to follow the most interesting, most groundbreaking, most practical findings, new videos and articles I upload nearly every day to my nonprofit site, nutritionfacts.org. Everything on the website is free. There are no ads, no...
when he clicks into his just... He's barely paying attention. He just hits a button and it's just... I'm just gonna slur the sentence because I didn't even listen to the things I said because I know that it just comes out without me even having to think about it. I've said this so many times, it just pours out of me like almond milk from a pitcher turned on its side.
Corporate sponsorship, particularly non-commercial, not selling anything, just put it up as a public service, as a labor of love, as a tribute to my grandmother, whose own life was saved with evidence-based.
We'll throw the captions on to see how YouTube interprets Dr. Gregor. Let's see how good the AI is with captioning.
Tristan. All right, let's get to your questions, shall we? All right. See, at the beginning, there's so few. The questions aren't coming in at such a rapid rate. I can actually pick and choose. There they go. I was going to pick and choose, but now they're flooding in so much. I just have to do my roulette wheel and click on one, and we'll see what pops up in the feed. All right.
Dr. Gregor chat roulette.
New track asks, am I familiar with Gardein products? And if you are they any good? Yes, so Gardein is a manufacturer of plant-based meats.
Oh, so Gardein is a manufacturer of toxic sludge kibble, and I think this is fantastic. Watch them say that the toxic lab-grown sludge is better than meat for the planet and for you.
Famous, I think, for their plant-based chicken products. And so I view these plant-based meats. They did a whole webinar on it. I have a whole series of videos coming up on it. As great stepping stone foods. Not everyone can go.
Great stepping stone foods. Come on, let's be realistic. This is the junk food that all these vegans end up eating. This is what you guys all end up eating and deteriorating on. A stepping stone to what, dude? A stepping stone to pretending you're vegan for a few years, making yourself miserable, disowning your family and friends before finally realizing that you were full of shit, confused, and malnourished. This is a stepping stone to that state.
Kale quinoa overnight, but for someone who wants to eat healthier but wants the same texture and mouthfeel and a familiar taste that they've grown up with, that's where I see the role of things like the Impossible Burger and Beyond Meat and all these things coming in, helping people transition towards a healthier diet. Though I wouldn't want people to kind of to stop there, to stall there, and continue to improving healthier, to improve the healthfulness of their diet by eating as many whole, unprocessed plant foods as possible. Next up, Danielle asked, new articles published. Epic Oxford. This is a quite new article. Oh, well, maybe news articles in the news. But the new article in the peer-reviewed medical literature on bone fractures in vegans came from the Epic Oxford study recently, I think 1 or 2 days ago. It's a fantastic
So a study came out, the Epic Oxford study has come out and said that vegans get more broken bones. They have more bone fractures. They're more frail. No shit. Anybody who's been around vegans and vegetarians, anybody who's been around athletes and seen some of these athletes go vegan, vegetarian, screw their health up, then go back to eating animal foods and get better again. Anybody could have told you that, yes, vegans and vegetarians break more bones. They're weaker. They have less vitamin D. Their cholesterol is low. Chronically low cholesterol doesn't allow you to have proper vitamin D production when you go in the sun. Remember, sulfated cholesterol in our skin is made into vitamin D, which is a hormone, which is highly involved in calcium homeostasis, and the direction of where that calcium goes. We need things like vitamin D, vitamin K2 that only comes from animal foods. We need fat-soluble vitamins. But let's see how he dances around this and tries to whitewash the fact that vegans have more fractures and more likelihood of breaking their bones because their bodies are deteriorating and weak. Let's see how he dances around this fact.
For those investigators,
Oops, oh, wait a second. We got buffering. Oh, that's... Now we're back. Now that'll be better. Should be less buffering. Sorry if there was a little bit of buffering there. Let's get back to Dr. Greg. Let's see how he whitewashes this one. How are you going to brush over this one?
I mean, it's often studies often criticized because they're looking at a cohort of British vegans. This is the second largest.
Oh, British vegans. Well, maybe British vegans didn't have a little bit more bone fractures because British vegans tend to really look up to skateboarding teens in Hawaii. What do you... Listen to all the ums and hms and ha's. This is what he does when he doesn't know what to say, when he can't just push the button and so you don't have to. Right? When he actually has to explain something and think, this is what he does. And also notice that he's using a filter. You see the wall behind him. It's off. It's not white. It's like yellow. So it seems like you may be using a filter to maybe change the color there. I don't know. I could be misinterpreting that. But he was looking mighty vegan there.
Study recently, I think 1 or 2 days ago. It's a fantastic study. I have a lot of respect for those investigators. I mean, studies often criticized because they're looking at a cohort of British vegans. This is the second largest study of vegans in human history. But in the UK, if you do surveys, the number one reason people eat plant-based is for like animal welfare reasons rather than health. Whereas here in the US, where, for example, the largest study of vegans.
Okay, so this is his answer to why was there a study that says that vegans break more bones, and you're trying to tell us you're doing this for health? He's like, well, a lot of these people are just doing it for the animals.
Where, for example, the largest study of vegans is taking place, the Adventist 2 study, people tend to, start cutting down on meat, et cetera, because of for personal health reasons. So over in the UK, the vegans in this study are eating kind of junky diets because they're really not caring about their own health. They're just kind of thinking about kind of animal suffering concerns. But that criticism only goes so far because the study, I mean, it's not like the meat eaters aren't eating crap too. And so it's comparing people eating crappy diet of processed foods with or without meat, eggs, and dairy. And so you can see, what does that do? Does adding meat, eggs, and dairy to crappy processed foods, how much does that impinge on one's health?
How dishonest are you, dude? How dishonest.
You just can't extrapolate the disease outcomes of that group of vegans to people who are eating more whole food plant-based diets, people who are actually eating their vegetables.
Well, so the ones who broke their bones, they did it wrong. They were never really vegan, and they did it wrong.
Interesting, the Adventist 2 study is actually the reverse. It's everybody's eating healthy. It's like, what if you actually compare people who actually eat their vegetables or eat their vegetables plus meat, eggs, and dairy? And so then again, you can compare the vegans from meat eaters in the same kind of cohort and see what does adding meat, eggs, and dairy to an overall healthier diet or an overall kind of standard Western diet, in the case of Epic Oxford. But again, you can't necessarily extrapolate the disease outcomes. So, the Adventist 2 study, vegans have so much less cancer, but they're also eating healthier. So, you can't just eat vegan donuts all day and think you're going to be protected from cancer necessarily.
Yeah. Because, I'll just go ahead and assume that. I'll just say that. Everybody who broke their bones in that study, they were just eating vegan donuts. They weren't eating enough kale, slippies, chippies, lentils.
Anyway, Epic Oxford, I actually a couple weeks ago.
All right, we're done with you. We get the point, Dr. Greger. I'm glad you're doing well. Sorry about the romance failing. You probably just give too much. You're too good of a lover, too good of a partner, too good of a person, and she didn't deserve you. Okay. In fact, none of them deserve you, Dr. Greger. None of them deserve you. None of these bigots watching this deserve you, your selfless philanthropy, and everything that you give. You bring joy to you bring joy to billions of people. You don't even know it. They don't even know it. You bring joy to them. Okay? And don't you ever let anybody tell you that you don't. Dr. Michael Greger. Okay? You're a big boy. You're a good boy. 253 Monty donated $10. Says Greger lacked pelvic blood flow. Yeah, I think he's lacking cerebral blood flow as well. Thank you very much for that super chat. Appreciate that. That's a Streamlabs. Streamlabs is the best way, guys. I keep saying super chats, but Streamlabs is a way to send the super chats. There's a link in the description. Thank you, guys. All right, Dr. Greger. Dr. Greger. Oh, Dr. Greger. Ooh, Dr. Greger. All right, let's learn. We've learned from Earthling Ed, Dr. Greger, Dr. Michael Greger, His Holiness the Dalai Greger, the High Priest of the Order of Vegan Vasectomy, Dr. Greger. Now we're gonna move on. We're gonna get the more feminine side. Okay. Yeah, I look back at you just to make sure that you're tuning in. So now you can listen now. Yeah, let's hear from the Vegan Duet about meat and masculinity. From the Vegan Duet podcast. We need to learn.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Vegan Duet podcast.
Yes! I said it at the same time. How old are you? How old are you? You acting like children.
In this episode, we will be talking about the relationship between veganism and gender. So, what does the current data show about the popularity of veganism with individuals identifying as women versus individuals identifying as men?
Individuals, okay? Individuals identifying as.
To answer this question, the Vegan Society conducted a UK study in 2016 and found that nearly twice as many women as men were vegan. Similarly, in the US, around 79% of vegans identify as women. These studies clearly demonstrate that, as compared with women, men are far more reluctant to adopt a vegan lifestyle.
Excuse me. All right, first of all, we're 50 seconds in. What do you mean men? Do you mean people who identify as men? Can you please clarify this? I don't want to have to report this video, but clarify, please.
But what could be the reasons for this gender imbalance? One major reason why men are less likely to go vegan is due to the harmful stereotype that has been perpetuated by society that eating meat is masculine. These beliefs that...
Whoa! Society, man. Society. We live in a society. We live in a society. We live in a society, man. And society tells you, oh, you gotta eat meat to be a man. You gotta eat meat. You gotta not eat meat to be a man. If you don't eat meat, you're not a man. And that's what society tells you, man. Society tells you, hey, you want that hot chick with the big fat fake titties? Yeah? No? Yeah? Okay. Yeah? Well, she eats Carl's Jr. hamburgers, dude. She crosses arm with that other chick with the big fat fake titties. And they eat those big fat fake Carl's Jr. hamburgers together. They're big old fake titties. You want that? You gotta eat the Beyond Meat instead. You have to eat the fake meat. Then you can get that. Or are they gonna actually are they gonna do what Earthling Ed did, or are they gonna go with the smash the patriarchy? Let's see. These are Siamese twins, and they're conjoined at the hip. You can't really see. They're actually like both of their torsos and their upper bodies. They're growing out of a chia pet. The same chia pet.
What food is manly versus womanly have been ingrained in us since our childhood. In school, we've been taught that in prehistoric times, when we were cavemen, men used to be the hunters and women used to be...
When we were cavemen, we mean cave people? What the what kind of... do you even university? What's your problem?
The gatherers. So men were seen as strong protectors who would go out and fight for their food while...
That's what you were taught in school. You were taught lies in school. This is what you were taught in school. Cartoon men with club, killed pig, drive goofy car with bike pedals. Like, this is... School taught you that Fred Flintstone is like the ideal image of a man, and that's not even real. Like, when I was in school, they taught me that, like, in our past, like, our distant ancestors were Fred Flintstone and Wilma. And Fred was really mean. He used to beat women with a club and rape them. Like, that was like it's like implied. It's like implied. It's like he wouldn't even let Wilma drive his cool little car with the little pedals on the feet. He wouldn't even let her drive it.
And were sort of protected and cared for, and they would do smaller tasks like gathering fruits and berries for the tribe. Since women were primarily responsible for gathering the plants, fruits, berries, vegetables, etc., and they were seen as the weaker sex, I guess eating a lot of food.
Wow, women were only allowed to eat berries in caveman times. Because like when there was like surplus meat, they would just take it, and Fred Flintstone would like go with his degenerate friend Barney, and they would just go to like the Elks Lodge, which is like their weird little Freemasonry thing that they had there, and they would eat the steaks together, and they would make the people who identified as the women, they would make them eat nothing but berries. But then that actually helped us to evolve, to be more empathetic. Right, because the pigments and the phytochemicals and the nutrients in berries, those actually helped us to get more empathy, so that we could then maybe like collect more resources together. And then that's why we had like tribes of just women that broke off, and they realized that they didn't even need men at all except for reproductive purposes. So some of those women would then go and kidnap men from neighboring tribes, bring them back, and use them as like a bull, and they would stud them out, right? But then they found that if they fed them only berries, then they couldn't get pregnant to make more little lesbian tribe members to smash the fash. So they ended up feeding them Beyond Burgers. They discovered Beyond Burger bushes like out in the jungles in like Africa or whatever, and the cave people who identified as men, they just called themselves cavemen because they were bigots back then. Those cave people who identified as men, then they started feeding them the Beyond Burgers and stuff, and they got really jacked. And like eventually they made the game changes. And now I'm vegan, and Biden's president, and Kamala is the vice president.
Fruits, vegetables, and berries, and these sorts of food are associated with womanly or are more effeminate. While masculinity is associated with meat because hunters were seen as strong and powerful. And
because hunters were like being advertised, so like Fred Flintstone, he like they would in like Flintstone magazines, they put him on stones back then. They would do like cave drawings on the stones, and all the cave drawings would be like luscious steaks, and there'd be like bitches with titties. I'm sorry, people who identified as women who have titties and can menstruate would be like displayed on the rocks. And they would have like these books of rocks, and those rocks would like tell people, hey, if you like cook this meat, hey, like Wilma will have to submit to you and your toxic masculinity. And so like Fred and Barney and all these people who identify as cavemen, those people, they would just like, they would make the steaks because they're advertised by the powers that by the fascists, by the patriarchy, right? They would market this to them, and they would like tell them like things about like religion and stuff, and that's how religion started. So yeah. Yeah.
Hunters were like real men. This stereotype of real men eat meat is only exacerbated by popular culture and the media.
Yeah. Purse your lips a little bit and like, let's just nod together when we say stuff. When I say stuff, you nod, okay? And then you say stuff and I'll nod, okay? Let's do it.
Instance, take a look at this advertisement.
This is an actual advertisement from caveman times when cave people who identified as men would oppress cave people that identified as women, even though men and women don't even really exist. This is an actual one.
Hear me roar, the number's too big to ignore, and I'm way too hungry to settle for chick food. Cause my stomach's starting to growl, and I'm going on the prowl for a Texas double whopper. Man, that's good. I will eat this meat. Still hungry. I am the Texas double whopper.
This is the only people eat meat is because there's Burger King commercials for double whoppers. That's like people didn't even eat meat, and then Burger King was like, just with like so many commercials, and then people forgot that all they need is berries. You just could have berries, but you just eat meat because you get told by TV.
Man.
Eat like a man. I mean, there's literally nothing more primal or manly than going on the prowl to your local Burger King and buying a Texas double whopper, paying for it at the cash register, and taking that home.
That's not even.
I mean, that is so alpha male.
It's not. It's not alpha. No, it's not. All right, tell us what's the better way to do it. Tell us how to do it. Tell us how we can. We know you're not impressed by that, but how can we be real good men? How do we be real good men, please?
But jokes apart, though, these advertisements are
There was no joke. Don't pretend there was a joke. There was no joke.
created to primarily target a male audience.
Whoa, no way. That was primarily targeted towards a male? Wait, males are the ones that are stupid enough to go to Burger King regularly and eat a Texas double whopper?
And if you need further proof of this, then you only need to look at how these advertisements portray women.
As you can see, the image of both the model and the burger in the same setting reduces their value to nothing but flesh. Instead
of being super empowering, like my personal hero, Miley Cyrus, who I guess she's not vegan anymore, but she was vegan for so long. Instead of being super empowering like Miley Cyrus, or like Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, they're degrading women. They're making them just like objects. Women are not objects, okay? Okay, these women are not objects, and in fact, we just marched last week to prove that women aren't objects by smearing blood all over our naked breasts and walking down the street trying to get everybody to look at us while we held signs that said, we're not objects.
Instead of being portrayed as unique and worthy individuals, they're just portrayed as objects or things to be conquered by men. Both these advertisements support this idea of a toxic masculinity, which promotes this set of societal norms that real men are expected to abide by.
It's such a straw man. It's just like, let's tear down corporate culture with new corporate culture slogans. we're gonna destroy like this toxic masculinity by giving you like an actually toxic masculinity and putting you on dresses and influencing you all to cut off your peepees with chemicals. Okay?
Some examples of behaviors that have been associated with toxic masculinity include extreme aspiration for physical, sexual, and intellectual dominance. In this,
like wanting to be good at stuff. Like if you want to be like really good like at physical things or like intellectual things, then that's just like a sign of you wanting to be dominant. You just want to dominate. It's like you want to get good grades in school. You just try to dominate.
and intellectual dominance, in this case over both animals and women, and devaluation of women's opinions, body, and sense of self. And again, this point applies to animals as well. On the other hand, it makes perfect sense if you haven't consciously observed these harmful ideas being portrayed and promoted in meat advertisements.
The one on the left, her job is just to sit there with that like fake almost smile and go, yeah, this is how you know it's true. Yeah, this is how you know that what we say is true. I'm nodding. Yeah, it's true.
Because these advertisements, like a lot of other advertisements, are designed specifically to impact consumers at a subconscious level. In so doing, they promote these harmful ideas that constitute toxic masculinity. And it is a major reason why a lot of men are afraid to go vegan, because they fear that that will somehow diminish their masculinity.
I love how this is like two 19-year-old college students, 18-year-old girls telling people why men won't go vegan and why that's a problem. Like they've got it figured out. They know exactly the only reason men are not going vegan enough is because of toxic masculinity. Right? Get rid of toxic masculinity and the world goes vegan. Animals win, you win. We all eat the kibble. We all win together. These vapid 19-year-old carbon copies of each other. They figured it out. They know what men need to do. Who the fuck is this guy? Bear Roots Farmer. What's up, Bear Roots Farmer? Donates $5, says these broads have never lived through cluster feeding a newborn, and it shows. That'll prove that at times you are reduced to your physical. Yeah, it's sad, right? I mean, they've never had children. Neither one of these has probably ever had a stable relationship with a man, right? Neither one of these probably knows any real men really in their life other than their fathers, who are probably pussies and they hate them. Right? The only men they know are their dads, who they hate and think they're pussies. Right? Well, like, man, there's a toxic masculinity and this and that. It's a toxic masculinity. What do you really want, though? Like, neither one of these girls. I wonder if they even plan to have children at all. Do they even plan to have families one day? Or are they just going through the motions, repeating the tropes? Are they just repeating I'm not going to have a child. There's too many people in the world. Like, I'd rather just, like, I want to be really successful. I want to really establish myself in my career. Then maybe when I'm like 33, 34, 35, then I'll have a child. But 33, 34, 35 comes. Their peak fertility years come and go. And they're just wasted. They waste it, making themselves infertile with this insane vegan ideology, making themselves mentally infertile, spiritually infertile, with a self-loathing, anti-human, anti-masculinity, anti-femininity, with their toxic femininity. Right? These women, they act like they hate masculinity, but what experience do they have with it? It's the straw man masculinity on a TV commercial for Burger King. This is masculinity. This is what I believe that masculinity is, because this is what I consume, television. Look at this advertisement. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's so bad. And they project, their whole reality is this projected commercial advertisement reality. And then they use those same tactics, they use marketing tactics to try to influence people's behavior and change their behavior through their vegan marketing, while pointing the finger and saying, oh, you just eat meat because of marketing. While we market you veganism. While we market you sterility. While we market you hating men. While not even knowing what men really are about. While not knowing any real men. We'll just hate them. I'm a 19-year-old girl. We're surrounded by a bunch of freaking 18, 19-year-old boys in the dorm rooms. These boys are all just as confused as we are. They were raised on the same toxic pop culture that we were raised on. I mean, your hatred of men is not a real hatred of actual masculinity at all. You hate a straw man. You've been given a straw man of what men are to project your daddy issues onto. Yeah. And you know it's true because we nodded.
And other animal products. But the most unfortunate aspect of this whole situation is that
Slow nod.
Equating meat with masculinity doesn't even make sense from a scientific standpoint.
It's not even scientific, right? It's not.
For instance,
let's see what the scientific are they gonna talk about some like second year feminist studies students paper? Let's see. I bet they throw out a social scientist undergrad student's paper.
Equating meat with masculinity doesn't even make sense from a scientific standpoint. For instance, let's look at this peer-reviewed study on the relationship between diet and testosterone levels.
They use the same study. They use the Earthling Edge study. Wow.
The study concluded that
the study wasn't about their testosterone levels. It was about hormones and diet. It's about androgens in general. And this study showed that vegans' lower IGF-1 was associated with a higher testosterone, but lower free testosterone. Right? Their free testosterone was not higher. And they had higher sex hormone binding globulin. So the higher levels of testosterone were offset by higher sex hormone binding globulin. No differences between the groups. Free testosterone. So they lie to you. They don't lie to you because they're just stupid to read this. They use Earthling Ed's Vegan Gains style study. This is Vegan Gains level understanding of science.
Actually had higher total testosterone levels than vegetarians and meat eaters, and that there was no difference in free testosterone levels among the three groups. Funnily enough, vegans with the higher testosterone levels could be considered to be more manly since testosterone is the male sex hormone. Animal products in general seem to have an adverse effect on men. For example, higher dairy consumption has been linked to a higher risk of prostate cancer in men. In addition, it has been shown to increase estrogen levels and decrease testosterone levels.
Oh, so really look, like masculinity is just it's a construct, but look, if you don't go vegan, you're gonna be a pussy. Look at you, you're gonna have more estrogen. You're not gonna have much testosterone. They can't, none of these vegans can do anything original. It's all just repeating the same tropes. This is why they can't be funny. This is why none of you have a sense of humor, because you're so worried what each other think about you. You're so obsessed with what other people think, and you're constantly trying to manipulate other vegans into thinking that you're an actual vegan. Oh, I'm in it for the animals. Right? None of you can be funny because you can't be yourselves. None of you can be funny because you're never yourself. This is what's so funny to me about when vegans try to be funny. It's funny, but not because of the things that the vegans think are funny. It's just the futile act of them trying to feign humor, trying to feign intellectual honesty or humility to be able to laugh at something genuinely. It's not even there. You guys are so lost. You vegans are so freaking lost. And you just repeat the same shit that each other are repeating. And you don't feel safe making any points outside of that because you might get lambasted by the cult if you step slightly outside of the bounds of what's acceptable to believe there. This is why you all end up antinatalist. This is why you all end up looking at sterility as a virtue, looking at actual toxifying and poisoning of the well of masculinity and femininity as some sort of a progressive endeavor. Right? Because you hate reality. This is what's really going on. These people hate reality. They don't want to accept what is real. So they'll make the same video as each other. and use the same shitty techniques of psychological manipulation and emotional manipulation as Earthling Ed because that's all they think they can do.
Animal products in general tend to have higher levels of saturated fat and cholesterol, which can lead to diseases such as obesity and diabetes. Additionally, a positive correlation has been found between these diseases and erectile dysfunction.
So again, the same process, the same procession of ideas. Oh, your pee-pee's not going to work. Your pee-pee won't work. Meat causes your pee-pee not to work and you die. It makes everything bad happen always. But veganism makes all the good stuff happen. Be a real man. All right, so they're going to take 13 minutes to do what Earthling Ed. At least Earthling Ed did it in a few minutes with his editing crew. But I guess they don't have a paid crew to edit the videos for him.
There is that the products that have been traditionally associated with being more masculine are actually products that lead to a reduction in the compounds that contribute to masculinity.
So another example of how popular culture designates vegan food to the status of unmanly and feminine is the term soy boy, which is used to deride men or boys who are perceived by society as weak or effeminate. Products derived from soybeans, such as tofu, are typically regarded as fake food and not the real thing. For example, there is a line in the song within the first advertisement that says "no more tofu," and it explicitly refers to these products as chick food.
I'm way too hungry to settle for chick food.
Yeah, you call women chicks, and that's not okay, okay? First of all, these are people who identify as chicks, all right? They're not chicks. They're people who identify as chicks. Some of those people can menstruate, some can't, okay? Get straight, bro.
Which is like womanly food. So essentially, they are not only perpetuating the stereotype that real men eat meat, but they're also perpetuating the other stereotype that women eat plants, and therefore plants are like an effeminate food. The reason why soy products are...
Yeah, my job, in case you forgot, my job is just to sit here, nod, and blink smugly. Yeah.
Typically perceived as effeminate also lies with the fact that there is a widespread misconception that soy products contain estrogen, but this is a falsehood.
It's false. It's phytoestrogens. Look, we say phytoestrogens, and then that makes it okay. It's good.
They contain.
It's funny. Both of these videos, they're the same video. You guys all make the same video. It's like a hive mind. You guys are fucking wired in telepathically. Your vegan demonology.
Estrogen, which has no appreciable effect on the human body.
Oh, no appreciable effect. That's science. It's science, okay?
On the contrary, dairy contains actual estrogen, and this can actually affect the human body and hormone levels.
Lastly, the belief that one can't...
It's just funny. When you look at cultures that consume high levels of raw dairy, they have high levels of fertility. They're very healthy in general. Weston A. Price, in his book Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, visited the Swiss population in the Lauchenttal Valley in Switzerland, and they were living almost exclusively off of
Michelle Law is a pee-pee in the poo-poo advocate.
We know. They were living almost exclusively off of dairy, cheese. They would have broth, and they would be very frugal with their meat. Remember, they were eating a lot of dairy, a lot of animal foods. But in fact, every culture that Weston Price visited and learned from in the pre-industrial systems of... There's not even systems, but in their pre-industrial habits of food intake, they would all focus heavily on animal foods. None of them had cancers. None of the dudes had bitch tits. Or I'm sorry, people who identify as women tits. None of them had. The dudes didn't have people who identify as bitches tits.
You want to find out? Find out.
It's so hard. I try not to be a bigot. It's so hard. I try to be a good global citizen, and I get yelled at by Mark Passio on my own stream. Damn it. I will find out. All right. And the Maasai don't have man boobs. Says okay up in the chat. It's up, okay. The Maasai don't have it in man boobies. None of these cultures had issues with feminization. But of course, look at these. They're talking about toxic masculinity, right? But then they're saying, oh no, look, these meat and dairy foods, they have estrogen in them. That estrogen's going to turn you into a woman. I thought that's a good thing, right? Isn't it heroic to take exogenous estrogen to feminize men? Isn't that like brave and stunning? I thought that was a good thing. Why are you trying to fearmonger about it now? Right? They want it both ways. They always want it both ways.
Get enough protein on a plant-based diet is one of the main reasons why people don't go vegan in the first place. In fact, according to this article by onegreenplanet.org and this article by runnersworld.com, not getting enough protein is the #1 concern for individuals considering veganism. And it would make sense that this concern would affect men more compared to women because of the idea that you need protein to build muscle.
The idea that you need protein? There's the idea that you need protein to build muscle, but that's just not true. Look, I'm a 19-year-old girl, and I'm going to define masculinity and what's good and bad about it. That's for me to decide. And also, I really know that you don't need protein to build muscle. It's just this like old myth that you need like to eat food in order to build muscle. You need protein. You don't need that. You can just make protein from plants. Like you can make protein from, you just get the plants and you just put them in the stuff and the Bill Nye stirs it and Bill Gates pushes the button and the proteins come out. Look at these vapid philosophers, the vegan duet, Neha and Namita, and we're the vegan duet. We're committed to spreading the message of veganism and what we've learned in our 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years, wowee, of being vegan. Good job.
And how having lots of muscle is associated with a more masculine figure.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. The most masculine figure is like a dude that looks like a little teacup, little muffin coming over with the pantaloons there, little muffin top up there. That's a real man. That's a real man. Real man got some flapjack jowls. You know what I'm saying? A real man. He got some B cups. A real man got some little sausage nippies with some B cups. Little stretchy flapjacks hanging off his chest. That's a real man. I don't know why you got to use a somewhat Georgia accent to talk about such a real man, such a specimen of a human being. Can only be described in a slick, buttery Georgia accent.
The good news is that the fear of not being able to build enough muscle on a vegan diet is completely unfounded.
It's unfounded. It's completely unfounded. There are people who market vegan protein powders. Like, obviously, it's totally unfounded. You can if you eat a vegan diet, you're gonna be huge and muscular, and your dick's gonna work. But none of those things are important, and dicks are oppressive symbols of the patriarchy, and an erect penis is one of the worst things because it can result in a child, and even something even worse, a child that goes to full term, right? Like a baby or whatever, a fetus that goes full term. It's terrible.
You can absolutely get enough protein and build muscle as a vegan. And this has been shown time and time again. Time and time again.
That Counting Crows song. Time and time and time again. Oh, we're doing 90s jukebox now. That's it. That's it. We're done. We're singing 90s songs now. This is deteriorated. What the hell? It looks like they used like the clone stamp tool on each other's eyebrows to like transplant. Like look at their face. Like from the nose up, they have the same exact face. Like their eyebrows down to the follicle are exactly identical. I don't know if they're sisters. I think they prune their eyebrows to look exactly like each other's. The same. Look at that. They use like the pattern stamp tool in Photoshop to do each other's eyebrows.
Able to build enough muscle on a vegan diet is completely unfounded. You can absolutely get enough protein and build muscle as a vegan. Yeah. And this has been shown time and time again. Plant-based foods such as beans, lentils, chickpeas, tofu, and quinoa are not only excellent sources of protein, but they also contain fiber, B vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and much more.
Here are just some examples of vegans who are breaking stereotypes every day. Kendrick Ferris, one of America's strongest weightlifters.
This is the same exact dude that what's-his-face referenced, that Earthling Ed. Same guy that Gelfling Ed referenced. So original.
Has been 100% vegan for years. We also have female bodybuilders such as Jahina Malik, who was born into...
Look at this vegan bodybuilder. Here's a female bodybuilder. If you're worried about being a masculine man, here's a woman who looks just like a man. It's a jacked ass woman.
A vegan family.
And remember, they want to stop toxic masculinity, but then they're like, look, vegans will lift heavy weights. And earlier they said like desiring to be, let's see, one of the signs of toxic masculinity is... One of the signs of toxic masculinity, let's just to point out the hypocrisy. What a surprise, vegans are hypocrites. Desire for extreme physical, sexual, or intellectual dominance. And then they go to try to sell you on veganism by saying you will be physically, sexually, and intellectually dominant because you'll be vegan. But no, that's toxic masculinity, to want to be physically and intellectually dominant, but you will be physically, sexually, and intellectually dominant if you have a vegan diet. And then that's a good thing. Fucking hypocrites.
Dairy contains actual estrogen, and this can actually affect the human body and hormone levels.
Lastly, the belief that one can't get enough protein on a plant-based diet is one of the main reasons why people don't go vegan in the first place. In fact, according to this article by onegreenplanet.org and this article by runnersworld.com, not getting enough protein is the #1 concern for individuals considering veganism. And it would make sense that...
Jump forward, sorry.
Kendrick Ferris, female bodybuilder such as Jahina Malik, who was born into a vegan family and has been vegan her entire life. Eating enough plant protein to meet your RDA is more than sufficient to building muscle on a vegan diet. There is often this misconception that animal products are the only way that you can get complete proteins, but...
It's totally not true. You can get them from Bill Gates. You can get the best complete proteins from transnational corporations who make it in factories. Like, the best food comes from factories. You take some plants, you bring the plants to the factory does the factory magic, and it gives you the powders. And then the powders, they're so much better than real foods. It's more sustainable, too, to make food in factories than to grow it in the earth. It's way better. It's way better. It's so much more sustainable. This is for the planet or something.
The reality is that if you combine different plant-based sources of incomplete proteins, such as rice and beans, then these can sort of complement one another to provide complete proteins. Meat and other animal products are not the cleanest sources of protein, and the protein that they do contain doesn't differ in any way from the protein that you would get from plants in terms of how much our bodies benefit from it.
Okay, next clip. I wonder how long they shot this for. I feel like if I make it through half of the video, I have to finish it. I don't know. I think we're gonna finish this one, guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna push through it.
Cutting out meat and other animal products from our diet will also mean that we are cutting out antibiotics, hormones, preservatives, and these other things that are added to these animal products to increase their shelf life and also make them look more colorful and taste better.
I mean, think about it, right? You are consuming a piece of animal flesh. So essentially, if you would think about that in terms of a dead body, right? How quickly does a dead body decay? Within like several hours, it starts decaying already and it starts to smell this putrid smell. Imagine how much,
These chicks, you've never prepared food in your life. You have no idea how to store food, how to cook food. You fucking girls probably barely know how to pour Captain Crunch. You probably barely know how to make yourself a bowl of cereal. Vapid, poor excuse. Poor excuse for a woman. You're like an 18-year-old college student. You guys live look at your dorm room. Like you have the most stereotypical dorm room background behind you. You don't have any idea how to prepare or store food. Please stop pretending.
Preservatives they need to pump into this piece of flesh in order to get...
You get a steak. A steak is a steak. You put it in a freezer. You pull it out of the freezer. It thaws. You eat it. Did you know that they have to, like, that all steaks are injected with like a liquid plasma plastic that like makes it, all meat are covered in like this like toxic soup of it's like masculinity juice, and it's like it makes it to where it never goes bad, and it's stuff's so bad for you. You're just making stuff up now. All the meat there's preservatives and all the meat. No, there's not. There's not. Our freezers are full of. We got a few freezers right now full of fresh meat. Guess what? 0 preservatives. It's just meat frozen.
Smell this putrid smell.
They both look at the camera blankly and nod. Like, hey, when you're saying something and you have no idea if it's true or not, just nod. Just nod. Yeah.
Body, right? How quickly does a dead body decay? Within like several hours, it starts decaying already, and it starts to smell this putrid smell. Imagine.
No, that's not true. That's not true. But okay.
How much?
Yeah, I'm half your size. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm far bigger and far stronger.
Thank you. We need more interruptions. Interrupt me more, bigots in the chat. Thank you guys for the support. We got a couple super chats here. We got Cross115 donated $5 through Streamlabs. Didn't even say anything. Thank you very much. CC Rose 115. We appreciate that. Hey, it all helps. The small ones, the big ones. These streams don't happen if you guys don't support. You get no support from YouTube, so we need you guys to hit the thumbs up, the little thummy thing. Hit the thummy thing. Hit the bell icon and all that. You probably still won't get notified, but hit the bell icon. And support via the Streamlabs link. When you can, if you're an essential, support the non-essentials over here. YouTube has deemed this channel non-essential. We know you guys enjoy it. Bigot, hey, great name, donated $5, says, do you believe the settled science from NASA that the Earth is round? Bigot. The Earth is clearly fat. We are fat Earthers here. We think the world is way too fat. We think the world is way too fat. We know, Michelle. We think the world is way too fat, and we're trying to help it to unfatten. So we are fat Earthers. The Earth is fat, and fat is abundant on this Earth. All right, so thank you very much, Jess. Donated $11.16. Jess says, protein is essential for healing the body. These girls have zero idea about health. Yeah, people just have this like belief that like protein is needed to like build muscle. They misspoke there. They probably meant people believe meat. They switched meat and protein. But it's just, I mean, it just shows you the intellectual laziness. I mean, they're doing the same video that all the vegans do, right? I'm sure Mick the vegan has the same video. Earthling Ed has been making that same video over and over again. That's ridiculous. Hey, John Candlewick, one of the best names in the YouTube chat, donates $10. Thank you, John Candlewick. Says, love what you're doing. I signed up for your group for a year. Next goal is to buy Jessica's cookbook. Thanks for all you do. John Candlewick, yeah, we saw you up in the forum. Hopefully you can make it to the coaching call tomorrow. If you become a member, like John Candlewick is saying, he signed up for our group. He signed up for a year. If you sign up for a year, it ends up being about 50% less. It's a huge discount. That's the best way to do it. We do weekly coaching calls in there. We're doing it tomorrow at what time? 12 Eastern. Next coaching call in the forum, in our private forum. Thank you, John Candlewick. I appreciate that. And thanks for reminding me. Maybe he's just trying to like stealthily remind me, hey, plug the book, dude. Plug the book. Here you go. Hey, young, vapid, vegan ladies, or people who identify as chicks. You two young vegan people who identify as chicks who may or may not have the ability to menstruate, because you may identify as a chick, but you don't want to menstruate. But if I menstruate as a man, I'm a woman, and overload. Not a bigot, I promise. Not a bigot. Guess. The Carnivore Cookbook. 0 carb recipes for people who really love animals. Hey, chick, you want to not say stupid shit? Like, the meat just like rots after like a few hours. After just 5 minutes, the meat is just like putrid, rotten, and like they have to put all these chemicals on it to make it not rot. You want to not say stupid things like that? Get this book, girls. You want to actually be able to cook for a man one day, cook for children, have a family, and pass on some knowledge on how to feed themselves to those children. Check out the Carnivore Cookbook. Jessica's awesome book here. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, isn't it beautiful? We got a whole section on how to make nutrient-dense organ meats in there. Teach you guys how to eat nose to tail. Animal foods are the most crucial foods. They're the only foods that you need. The only foods you really need are animal foods. I can't believe we have been duped. So I can't believe so many of us have been duped into giving up animal foods for a period of time. I went like 6 months with no meat one time. It was horrible. I felt like shit at the end of it. Ended up getting a crazy viral infection, worse than any virus I've ever had. Legit thought I was going to die. Right? And I was eating some cheese during that time too. It wasn't even fully vegan. Oh no, you just get the supplementation right. You do this, you do that. You could eat the algae, and you get the iodine from the seaweeds, and you eat the 10 different types of lentils, slippies, and chippies. No. So I can't believe so many of us have been duped into giving up the only foods that are required for human health. The only foods that you can produce on your own land and feed your own family off of your own land. They say, those are bad. Those are bad. All right, let's finish. Let's finish with these chicks. This is a funny freeze frame. They can't stop looking at themselves in the camera. So she's like, oh, toss my head back. I'll still be looking at me. Yeah, I look good like that. Quit painting your faces up, women. Paint your damn faces up.
They need to pump into this piece of flesh in order to give it the shelf life that it has. And in addition to it, that the meat already has a lot of antibiotics in it. And it's just terrible for us. And we don't want to get all those additional chemicals. Meat actually isn't more natural in that sense because it is pumped with preservatives. Yes, and this
pumped with preservative. Yep. It's like when you have a steak, before you eat the steak, they take a little preservative pump, and it's like an air compressor, and they turn it on and go, and then you have to stick the little hole in there. You just fill it up with the preservatives. You just fill it up. It's filled up with them.
This is not just for flesh; it's for milk as well. I mean, if you think about it, it's like rancid breast milk from a cow usually, and so
no, that's fresh milk from a cow. Rancid breast milk from a cow. Cows don't have breasts, you fucking idiot. Cows have an udder. You squeeze the milk out of the teat that comes from the udder of the cow, and that is not rancid. And guess what rancid milk is? Cheese. Guess what fermented milk is? Yogurt, cheese, kefir. Some of the most amazing foods ever that you wish you could eat every day. That you probably still eat a little bit of when you're drunk. Don't lie.
Yeah, it's kind of comparable to meat in that sense in terms of the amount of additional preservatives and other things you have to add in order to make it last.
Well, a lot of plant-based products can last for so long, like rice and beans.
The plant-based, like an Impossible burger, like those little limp Impossible sausages, that lasts for so long. What?
Have shelf life that lasts like months naturally. So,
naturally.
Yeah.
So you would definitely benefit your health in the long run just by cutting out these animal products and making the switch to a whole food plant-based diet.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, the meat, dairy, and egg industries fund lies that are spread to the public through media, advertisements, and studies. Most studies that promote animal products as the best source of protein are often funded by these same industries or have other conflicts of interest.
Whoa.
And it certainly doesn't help that our...
So we've done extensive sciencing, and we've realized that the bad science says meat is good. Any science that doesn't say vegetarianism, veganism is better, is bad science, fake news. Science that tells us what we want to hear, good, real, true. Experts. Any study that tells you that meat's not bad is bad. It's bad science.
Our advertisements continue to promote these gender stereotypes that men need to eat meat to be masculine, etc., etc. Because these stereotypes definitely affect us at a conscious or subconscious level. To all the men watching this video, you definitely do not...
So the 71 people saw this video. I guess we're adding a few. How many men are watching the vegan duet? How many men are watching a pair of 19-year-old, 18-year-old college students in their dorm room pontificating on how to be a real man by going vegan? For any men that are watching this, remember, the takeaway is this. Masculinity is toxic, and it's a social construct that's just given to you by the patriarchy and by advertisers. Okay? Okay? Also, therefore, veganism can help you to be actual manly in a non-toxic masculinity way. How do you tell if something is toxically masculine? Well, if you want to be physically, intellectually, or sexually dominant, that's toxic masculinity. But if you go vegan, you will be intellectually, physically, and sexually dominant. If you don't go vegan, your penis won't work. Penises are also a terrible thing. They're a symbol of the patriarchy. And penises are actually, did you know that a penis is a phallic symbol? Yeah, totally. Penis is a phallic symbol. But your penis will work better if you go vegan. Wow. So that's the takeaway, man. Masculinity is bad. And all the things you think about masculinity are wrong. But you'll have all those illusory illusions of masculinity if you just go vegan. And your pee-pee will work better. And all the bitches gonna give it a pussies. The bitches gonna give it a pussies. Just go vegan.
Conscious or subconscious level. To all the men watching this video, you definitely do not need to eat meat or any other animal products in order to stay healthy or build muscle. You can do everything that you want with plant-based products. You can build muscle, you can stay healthy, you can be lean, you can lose weight, whatever you want to do, you can do it by eating a healthy, whole foods, plant-based diet.
I want to be the president of the United States of America, like Joseph R. Biden. I want to be the next president of the United States of America. Just like Joseph R. Biden.
So much bigger.
No. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I want to be the first Indian American, African American, Asian American, lesbian American vice president. I want to be Kamala Harris when I grow up. And I can do that if I go vegan. I could be anything. I could do anything. I want to be Kamala Harris. And I will be if I eat a plant-based diet one day.
That you want with plant-based products. You can build muscle, you can stay healthy, you can be lean, you can lose weight, whatever you want to do, you can do it by eating a healthy, whole foods, plant-based diet. And think about it, right? Meat does not equal muscle. What you're actually getting from the meat is the protein. So if you can get that same compound from plant-based sources, that would be less cruel, better for the environment, and better for your health as well. Unfortunately, the meat, dairy, and egg industries that promote these stereotypes thrive off of the insecurities that they create within us in the first place.
They thrive off the insecurities that they create within us. But we just told you that your PP won't work if you go vegan, and that you're also not a real man unless you go vegan. You're a fake, toxic man if you don't go vegan out of fear. Okay.
We definitely need more men in the vegan movement helping to break down these harmful stereotypes and set the record straight. So join us in our journey of compassion and go vegan! That's all for this episode, so we'll see you next time on another episode of the Vegan Duet Podcast.
Everybody's so happy. There we go. Look at the animals. The animals are healing. Look at this. The animals. Where's your ball? Where's your ball? You lost it already. Look at this. The animals. Look. The animals are jumping for joy. Get that. The animals. Get it. Get that. Get it, Ribeye. Get that, Ribeye. Get that, Ribeye. Get that ball. Get it. Get it. Come on. Get that ball. Come on. Get that ball. Come on. Jump up and get it. Get it. Get it. Ribeye's he's a ball dog, in case you haven't noticed. Hey, Ribeye, you want that ball? You want that ball? Sit down. Oh, that's a good sit. Here you go, dude. What a stud. Ribeye's so good now. He's so good. I can't remember the last time he did something naughty. He did shit in the house a couple times recently. But in the middle of the night. He must have eaten something funny. All right, Bear Roots Farmer donated $5. Says, go vegan. Stop your trans hate. Well, what's up with the vegans that hate trans people? Maybe we might have to talk about this in the next one. I've been seeing a lot of transphobia coming from the vegan community. A lot of it. Lots of transphobia, and even the dreaded homophobia. Homophobia, as we say. Homophobia. Seen a lot of it. And then we're going to talk about that on the next stream. I'm going to come over here. What's happening? Exposing powerful lies. How you doing? Look at all these wrenches. All my wrenches are back. My wrenches were gone the first half of the stream, and then they show up the second half of the stream. You guys cheating on me. You guys are cheating on the stream, and I know it. I know where you've been. I know where you've been. I smell it on you. I smell it on you all. All right. Let's see. It's been a few hours. I should probably wrap it up. Oh, you bigots. Toxically masculine, bigot, racist. I don't know. Well, you're all the things. All of you. You're all those things. You're all those things. Bigots. I'll see you next time. I'm out of here. I don't know, if you guys like the streams, support the next streams. Watch the streams when they come. Watch them when they happen. Share them. Thumbs up, notifications, and all that. Thumbs up, notifications. And, of course, support via Streamlabs. I'll probably do a stream tomorrow night or Saturday. I don't know. I'm sick of all these people actually toxifying masculinity, actually destroying real femininity, destroying families, destroying our way of life. I'm sick of these people. And we're going to keep battling these people. We're going to keep fighting these people. And we'll have some fun streams like this every once in a while. But, you know, I will say it's good to see a lot of these businesses standing up, opening their businesses and saying no to this nonsense. So you guys support local businesses, support local food producers. Start looking at producing your own food as well. Right? You're trying to lose body fat, trying to gain some muscle. The most important foods are quality animal foods, and the most important foods for quality of life in our communities, for the long-term cohesion in our communities, are animal foods. We need animal inputs to regenerate soil. We need animal inputs to even grow plant foods and carbohydrates. We require animal foods for our health. We require amino acids, essential fatty acids. There are essential fatty acids that you only get from animal foods. There are fat-soluble vitamins that you're only going to get from animal foods. Yeah. We need animal foods. Plant foods, you know what's crazy? They're actually optional. They're actually optional. Yeah, you can live off of plant foods for a while. Sure, some people have maybe gone very long periods of time on nothing but plant foods with heavy supplementation. And as we see, a lot of these people are suffering serious consequences. As we see in the vegan YouTube community, those consequences are not just physical. They're not just physical. And go beyond that. So anyways, you guys want healthy communities, healthy families. This starts with you. We got to build those real relationships with our community. We got to build real relationships with our families. We got to fix the broken relationships with our friends and families. All right? We got to repent. Now, maybe we deserve what's coming. Or maybe what's coming doesn't have to be so bad if we'll stand up and actually do something for our communities, for our families, for ourselves even long term. Now, stop buying into lies, stop buying into bullshit, stop being afraid of your neighbors, stop being afraid in general. Yeah! All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to relax and try to get some sleep. Try to get to bed before midnight tonight. More streams to come, more good stuff to come. Make sure to, if you want to get in on our weekly coaching calls, become a member of primaledgehealth.com/membership. There's a link down in the description below. Coaching call tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It means I probably won't do a stream tomorrow night, but I might. We'll see what happens. I think I'll probably do a stream on Saturday or Sunday. We'll see what's up. At least one more stream before Sunday. I promise you. You will get at least one. Maybe two. Who knows? All right, guys. Take care of your families. Take care of your communities. Take care of yourselves. Get out there in the real world. Build real relationships. Eat real food. Quit eating freaking kibble. Look your neighbors in the eyes. Tell them to take out the freaking face diaper. Go get out there and live your lives, guys. I'm out of here.
What are you doing? Wait.